What's good with your peace and blessings? Thank you, each and every last one of you, for always chiming into that D.A.P. Where you hear the exclusives. We talk about all types of topics. We get into all types of, whether it's current events, whether it's relationships, whether it's whatever. We're going to talk about it. And today we have a unique topic. All right. What I want you to do, guys, please do me the favor if you can. We're going to wait for a few people to come on. We're going to wait for them to come on, and we are going to make sure we are heard. So if you are here right now, do me the favor, press 1 in the chat, and that will let me know that you hear me really, really good. And be sure to share the page, like the page. For those of you over there on YouTube, do me the favor and press subscribe. Also, do me the favor and press follow on David Adams' page on Facebook. All right. That's very much appreciated. So go ahead. I'll give you a few seconds to do that. Don't forget to support the Supreme Sunshine Shea Butter, a shea butter that's produced with love. All different types of scents. Yeah, make sure you do that. So, by the way, this topic is a very, very touchy topic. It's a topic that most people don't talk about. It's a topic that most people are very uncomfortable with speaking about. A lot of times we tend to talk positive and we hold our mothers in a high place. No matter what nationality, most people hold their moms in a high place and their fathers in a high place. The Bible speaks of things like, honor thy mother and father that your days be long. But a lot of times we don't really get the whole gist or the whole narrative of that scripture, where it also speaks about to the parents, do not provoke your children. We don't really talk about that part. So today, I want to dive into the subject of narcissistic mothers that most people never speak of, or they hold it in, of some of the most worst, demonic, disrespectful, unappreciative, lying type of parents. And today I have here with me a person by the name on Facebook. Her name is Miss Ball. All right. So I want to introduce to you the young lady that got in touch with me regarding this particular topic. Okay. They call her Crystal Ball. So let's give Crystal Ball a round of applause for chiming in. Peace and blessings to Crystal Ball. What's good with you? How you doing?
Hey, David. Good afternoon. Happy Sunday. Happy 1st of March.
No doubt.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining in.
No doubt. I appreciate you actually chiming in. I appreciate you actually wanting to be interviewed by me regarding this particular subject, because it is a different kind of subject. It is a touchy subject. And for you to want to have, for you to have heart to actually speak on this, man, I definitely want to applaud you for that, y'all. So I want to make sure those who are here, please do me the favor. Throw a 1 in the chat for your appreciation of this particular situation, if you could. All right. For my girl, Miss Ball. So we're going to start by first allowing you to introduce yourself. Do me the favor, introduce yourself, let people know who you are, where you're from, and all that good stuff. You can do that. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I go by the moniker Crystal Ball, and that is a pseudonym that I came up with when I wrote my book,
Really? Okay.
Shameless Plug, Sex,
No
Guys,
doubt.
and Lies.
No doubt.
I wrote the book back in 2012, and it explores the phenomenon of why men lie to women for sex and the consequences thereof.
No
Very
doubt.
successful, timeless topic, and I just came up with that name. I thought it was catchy, it was cute,
No doubt.
and I just started using it for my social media persona. But
No
my
doubt.
real name, my as they like to say, my government
A
name
good man.
is Yolanda Ramirez.
Got it.
I
Thank you, man. Thank you. So what made
born and
you
raised in Newark.
okay.
Um,
Go ahead.
went to Essex County College. When I was young and beautiful, I used to be. Uh, I worked in the legal field. Well, actually, I've worked in many different genres, but now I am happily retired. And God willing, I will be 67 on the 16th of this month. I have one son who I love, cherish, and adore, who's probably not going to chime in, and I wish that he would, because I would like for him to be able to speak on what it's like to have a mother that's not narcissistic. I have an adoring grandson who's 7 years old chronologically, but if you talk to this kid, you're gonna look at him twice because he has the mind of like maybe a 16-year-old brilliant child.
Mm.
I have two cats, Mrs. Beasley and Max.
What's their names? I'm sorry. What's their names? I didn't hear it.
Mrs. Beasley and Max.
Okay.
And I can't talk about cats without talking about my Finster. I had Finster for 29 years.
Mm.
For 29 years.
Wow.
But now now that I'm retired, I'm a professional face painter. I'm also I do work with children at my church. I have a children's program. It's called Educate, Enlighten, and Empower.
Nice.
And I do all types of things with children. As the name says, I educate them, I enlighten them, I empower them, and I also do fitness.
Nice.
And for any men that are out there, I'm also divorced and single. Wink, wink.
Okay. Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that? She advertising, y'all. What's up? What's up?
Yeah, we're gonna have to come back and do another show about
No
this
doubt.
whole relationship thing
I
because
got you. I got you.
woo, the
Yeah, I can
dating
imagine.
pool is fierce.
No doubt. No
Hard.
doubt. So, where should I start? And thank you for the intro. For those who chime in, and do me the favor, like the page right now. I appreciate it if you can. Please share the page. It's very important that you do. Because I'm saying that because and I like to do the podcast with intention. There are people that may be going through this right now, and you have someone who has been going through it and still going through it. But when we talked, me and Miss Ball talked, she actually has been healed from the situation. We talked about her healing. We talked about a lot of different things that she has gone through. And I think this will help people who are going through it now or that may go through it in the future. So I'm gonna start with the first question. Why would you say, or what is narcissistic to you from your experience? Because people speak on narcissistic people. They have a whole another narrative of it. We sometimes get the textbook of it. What is narcissistic to you?
Okay, well, first of all, I would like to just correct you on that. I won't say that I'm necessarily healed
Okay.
because I'm still going through it.
Right. That's why I said she's healing while you're
I am
healing.
in the healing process. As a matter of fact, I said to my pastor today that I want to have a meeting with him because of my experiences that I have had. I'm beginning to question my faith because there's a lot of rhetoric attached to this whole narcissistic syndrome thing. And, one of the things that I hear most often is, well, everything is in God's time. And like you said at the beginning of the podcast, about the Bible scripture, honor thy mother and thy father. However, there's a difference in actually living through that and understanding. The thing with, well, first of all, let me just define what clinically a narcissistic mother is.
Got it.
A narcissistic mother is a mother who lacks, and I'm reading from my notes here, selfishness, lacks empathy. She's entitled and domineering. She has poor boundaries. She's jealous, refuses to take responsibility, overly critical, difficulty with conflict resolution, untrustworthy, blames others, manipulative, emotionally abusive, and unable to show genuine love. And I can say that I have experienced that in my growing up with my mother. It took me, I would say, until I was at least in my 40s to fully understand what this is, because like you said at the beginning of the show, our society, we have been trained that, you love your mother, you honor your mother, your mom is the greatest, and that's how it should be. However, when it comes to the reality of it, not all mothers know how to mother. Not all mothers intrinsically love just because they gave birth to the child. Now, to be fair, a lot of times mothers who have become narcissistic, they experienced a narcissistic upbringing themselves, and it repeats the cycle. Had I not had the benefit of counseling, and in-person counseling, and also online groups, I probably would have continued on what's known as the generational curse.
Deep, deep. So I'm going to ask this first question. Thank you for breaking that down, the clinical terms and all that. Can a mother truly be jealous, or a narcissistic mother? Can a narcissistic mother be jealous of their daughter?
Well, again, I want to go with the notes, because see, it's important that people understand there's a difference between, bashing your mother and actually understanding the psychology behind the actions that what she does. Because my mother, and I would say all narcissistic mothers, it's a form of mental derangement. It's the person is not, quote unquote, well, because
Right.
the actions and the things that they do
Right.
is just not normal. So according to what's written about the jealousy of a narcissistic mother, it says that narcissistic mother's jealousy can be pervasive and damaging element within the family dynamic. The jealousy often arises from her child's success, popularity among peers, or any other achievement that shifts attention away from her. Narcissistic mothers create drama, spread rumors, pit family members against each other in an attempt to divert attention back onto themselves. Narcissistic mothers are particularly jealous of their daughters. Instead of nurturing and supporting their daughters, these mothers view them as rivals and engage in a competition of sorts, even going to the extent of sabotaging their daughters' relationships or accomplishments. And I have experienced that.
Wow. So what does it look like from your perspective, your experience? What does it look like when a mother competes instead of nurtures?
Well, I want to focus on the sabotaging of the relationships.
Okay, well,
in that terms, and it's still relating to the jealousy.
Got it.
My ex, I was involved with this guy for 11 years, and I would he was a great guy. We broke up for other reasons. But I would brag on him a lot. Oh, he does this, he does that, he gives me this, he gives me that. And my mother took that information and used it against me with him in terms of trying to make it seem as if I was exploiting him. And to just break down the whole situation, my mother had never met his family. And my mother she went on the internet, found his sister's address, wrote his sister a 6-page letter wherein she disparaged my character. She accused me of using him. She said that I was sleeping with my pastor, not my pastor at my current church, but at the other church. This was all in effort to degrade my relationship with him, to destroy my relationship with him. And it was just mind-blowing that my mother would go through that extent to do that. And if I can go back in time in history,
Go ahead, no problem.
when I was younger, and before I actually understood the whole dynamic and structure of what was happening in terms of my mother being narcissistic, she interfered a lot in my marriage. And to the point where, I actually would argue with my ex-husband and say, well, my mother said this and my mother said that. And that was one of the reasons that that caused the demise and destruction of my family, of my marriage, because I remember when he left me, he says, I married you and not your mother. So my mother was a driving force in a lot of negative things that happened.
Give me a situation that showed the jealousy amongst your mother and you when it pertains to your significant other. I think we had a conversation and you mentioned something to me about how when people say things like you look like or she look like you or your mother look like you or you like your mother.
Well,
Give me a detail and for my audience to see some of the things that
so
you're
they
talking
can,
about.
ironically, and it just goes to show you how ironic life can be. I look exactly like my mother. The only difference is my mother is very light skinned. I'm brown skinned.
Got it.
But I am the spit and image of my mother. When my mother was a younger woman, my mother was very, very, very beautiful. She had a nice shape that I inherited from her. Beautiful teeth. I paid for these.
I know that's right.
She was a very attractive woman.
Right.
And I think, and I mean,
Your complexion.
I'm sorry.
She wasn't your complexion. She was
No, my mother's light.
real light.
I'm just saying to give you a scenario that I look a lot like her.
I get it.
And like when I'll give you an example. She was up here in August of last year, and she came up and stayed with me for a while, and for 2 weeks approximately. And we went to an event up in Essex County for Senior Citizens Day. And I wore this crazy, outrageous outfit with these glasses with the rhinestones on them and everything. And it attracted a lot of attention. And basically everyone that came in contact with us, the first thing they would say was, "Oh, you look so good. You look so beautiful." And my mother would hop in each and every time and say, "Oh, she got it from me. She looks like me. That's my daughter. That's what she gets." And it got to the point where it got embarrassing because it's like, wow, okay, we get it. Then there was another incident when this guy that I was dating, and he, I introduced him to my mother, and she's like, "Oh, well, she gets it from me. She got this. She got her shape, and she get her body from me." And
Wow.
it's that type of thing. I think it's because
You mentioned, not to cut you off, you mentioned to me she would actually stand up and then show that her body. To show like, look, she got it from me.
she
Type
got it
of,
from me. Yeah,
wow.
yeah,
That's
she
deep.
got it from me. Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead. Go on. I'm sorry.
No, but I'm just saying that's just, maybe because she's older now, and she's reminiscing about, how she used to look, when the spotlight was on her, and that's just something that's just a part of it.
No doubt. No doubt. No doubt. All right. If anybody got any questions, you can always put your questions on the comment board that you have for Miss Ball. Okay. Any questions or statements is fine. We definitely will welcome it. If you want to call in, you can always call in as well. We're going to move over to YouTube. So those who are here on Facebook, we're going to shut Facebook down and we're going over to YouTube. All right. So, yeah, so in a minute, we're going to do that. So, do me the favor for those who are here over here on YouTube, please press subscribe. We appreciate it. So, let's move on. And I appreciate you once again for coming up on this podcast to express these things here. All right. Um, so, when does strict parenting cross the line into emotional control? And I'm mentioning this because, you have gone through this. So, when does it cross the line?
Well, there's a difference between disciplining a child and abusing a child. Um, I can say that I was abused. I was beat. I was punished beyond quote unquote what's normal. And if my son is watching, I would love for him to come in, because it was very important to me growing up, and even before I had a child, that I could remember during times when I was being beat, when I was being abused, that I would always promise that my child would never go through this. Now, my son could never conduct this interview, because my saving grace and my solace to having been surviving of a narcissistic mother is that I can say I broke the generational curse. There was a time when my mother would call me outrageous names, bitches, whores, MF, to the point where it was just, you become desensitized to it. And I can say that I have never called my son, I don't care how angry I was at him, I have never called him those names, because I understand how it feels to be called this by your mother. And my mother, and I have, as you can see, I have a file here. It says Narc Mother.
Wow.
My mother has not only called me these things, but she has went on Facebook. This is, a printout of Facebook,
Wow.
and actually called me names and all kinds of things on Facebook in a public forum.
Wow. That's heavy.
Yeah, well,
You actually have actual receipts, actual paperwork on this countless times, or this happened one time?
this has been happening. This is just some of the things that my mother has written me over the year. This has been going on. When is this letter? This letter is dated 2019. This has been going on for years. I mean,
Wow.
and she would send things through the mail.
Mm.
This, you can see the postmark here.
Yep, I see it. Wow.
And she says, make sure you show this to people. You lied. And as you can see, I want you to what it says. Yolanda what Ramirez.
Yeah, it's kind of
Trash.
backwards on this. Me looking
Well,
at it.
it says Yolanda Trash Ramirez.
Got
This
it.
is what my mother sent me through the mail.
Wow. She labeled a letter like that.
Trash
Wow.
through the mail.
That's
Okay.
heavy.
This has been going on. This is another something else that she sent me. This was a Mother's Day card that I sent her, and she returned it back to me,
Mm,
defaced with calling me all kinds of names.
wow.
Okay, but it goes further than that. I used to work for the state of New Jersey, Office of
Okay.
Attorney General.
Mhm.
In an effort to get back at me, my mother wrote to Human Resources and told them that I was a danger to the office and I may come and hurt my coworkers and that they should check me out. These are the type of things that I have gone through with my mother in a public forum.
Wow.
She actually went on this Facebook post here. The last line reads, I wish she had never been born, and I hope that she dies a horrible death because she is rotten to the core. I hate her.
At
This is
that
what
time,
my mother wrote.
what's the date of that particular situation right there? When was that?
This was, I don't have the date on this one, but
Was it
this
a few
happened
years
about
ago?
this happened about 3 years ago because this was all during the time when we were going through the family drama.
Okay. And at that time, first of all, your mother's still around, correct?
My mother's still around.
And how old is she now?
She will be 87 in August.
Wow. How did that make you feel, that particular letter, when that came across your eyes? How did that make you feel at that time?
Well, initially I was angry because she sent this this was the first communication that she had made to my ex-boyfriend's sister. But it's a shame to say it. At this point in time, I'm desensitized because, like I showed you, this has been going on for years. This is not like the first time or the second time. This has been going on for years.
Wow.
This, like I said, this is postmarked 2023. The
Right.
other one was postmarked 2019.
Mm.
This has been going on and on. And when we talked earlier, I told you I was thinking about writing a book called Letters from My Mother. And I
Yeah.
was going to actually publicize some
Wow.
of those letters.
Wow. That's heavy. That's deep. That is deep. Wow. That's a big wow. Listen, we're going to go over to YouTube. For those who are on Facebook, do me the favor once again to go over to YouTube under David Adams Podcast. Go to the live section and you can chime right on in there, okay? Please do me the favor and press subscribe over there, all right? So I'm going to put up the actual YouTube channel so you can go over there and check that out. All right, so it's going to be David Adams Podcast. All right, again, you can chime in over there. I'm shutting Facebook down. Okay, and do me the favor before you leave, if you can go ahead and like and press share if you could. David Adams Podcast on YouTube. Live section, okay? So we're going to piece you guys out and we're going to continue over there. All right? Okay, go ahead. You can go on, my sister.
Okay, I just wanted to read something. I belong to a Facebook support group. It's called The Narcissist Daughter. And it reads, the narcissist mothers don't apologize. They would rather die and go to their grave than take accountability for the damage they have caused. In their mind, the horrible ways they have treated you is your fault.
Mm.
No one really talks about how heartbreaking it is to become an adult and watch other women laugh with their mothers, lean on them, and be loved by them while knowing deep down that kind of relationship will never be yours, no matter how much you long for it. And I want to expound on that.
Go ahead, break that down. That's deep.
Part of my therapy was I had to learn acceptance, that this is who my mother is. You don't get to choose your family. You don't get to choose who your parents are. For all of my life, I can remember hearing my girlfriends and other friends and family, and they would always say, oh, my mother's my best friend. I can tell my mother anything. And I can always remember my mother telling me, oh, I'm not your friend. You are not my equal.
Mm.
And it wasn't until I actually went through therapy that I had to accept the fact that I will never have the kind of relationship that I wish that I had with my mother, because she's just not that person. I can remember coming up, I would tell my mother things and she would, tell her girlfriends and tell other people and, downgrade me about it. So I learned early on that I could not have intimate conversations with my mother because I would be judged and my business would also be spread.
Mm. Deep, deep. So, is it possible that your mother secretly resent her child, whether it's her beauty, whether it's her self-esteem, her accomplishments, and her attention or her success?
No, see, I go back to the clinical aspect of it.
Right.
My mother, on the narcissistic spectrum, my mother would be extreme. And again, I go here to my notes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, in a narcissistic mother's eyes, they view themselves. Okay, here it is. A narcissistic mother's logic: I can bully and disrespect my children all I want. But
Mm.
if they try to defend themselves or ask for respect, then that's disrespecting me. And that's how my mother feels.
Right.
If you try to talk to her, if you try to reason with her, you are wrong, you're disrespectful, you're ungrateful. Now, what precipitated this last fallout, just for understanding, I hadn't talked to my mother for almost a year prior to my father passing in June.
Right.
And that was because of the constant ongoing disputes and fighting, the negativity, the back and forth. So when my father fell ill, she, she contacted me, and, I went down there and I was with him um, during the hospice period. And unfortunately, when he passed. So, I figured, well, I was hoping that with the death of my father, maybe something would finally click in her and
Right.
she would, change.
Change.
She would
Right.
soften.
Got it.
Same
Nothing.
old person,
Nothing at all. Nothing
same
changed.
person. And
Wow.
what caused this last dispute is every child, and I want you to listen to me carefully.
Yes.
Every child in my family has a DIFUS record because of my
Wow.
mother. With
When
the
you say every
exception, hear me
child,
out.
when you
With
say hold
the
up, when you
exception,
say every child, you talking about your immediate family, like your mother, your
well,
sister.
I'm talking about my immediate family.
Okay. All right.
Every child has a DIFUS file. So that would be my son, my brother's children, my sister's child, and my youngest brother doesn't have any children. But
Wow.
all of my mother's children's children have DIFUS files that my mother precipitated.
Your
And
mother's children.
it's not because we're bad parents.
Got it.
It is because my mother uses DIFUS as her own personal vendetta solver. So if
Wow.
she's mad at me, she will call DIFUS and file a report. It
God.
goes back to, now my son just turned 46 yesterday. This goes back 46 years.
Wow.
Okay. My brother's daughter, same thing. She gets mad at my brother. She called DIFUS on him. My sister's daughter, she got mad at my sister. She called. All of our children have DIFUS files. And then it went on to the next generation. So the grandchildren have DIFUS files, with the exception of my grandson. And that's only because my mother has never seen him and she never will.
Wow.
My son stopped talking to my mother when he was 19. My son turned 46 yesterday. And in true narcissistic fashion, my mother would have people to believe that I turned my son against her.
That's what they would say.
And another thing I need people to understand about the mind of a narcissistic person and how they work.
Do you think people, hold that thought, and I'm going to let you finish that thought.
Oh, trust me, it's deeply ingrained.
Do you think people underestimate a narcissistic mind that's on 10, as you said?
Well, that's what I was getting into. Narcissists are very crafty in how they operate. They surround themselves with two types of people. The people to support them, which we know in therapy is known as flying monkeys.
Flying monkeys.
The people who support them, who don't question them, who don't put any thought behind their actions.
Yes men and yes women.
And then it's the people who don't know them, the people who they can gaslight and manipulate. People who question them or people who know them are what we call in the narcissistic community, they're discarded, because you are going to question, you are going to give the side eye, and they can't manipulate you. And that's leading back to what I was saying. My mother has 2 adult children who don't talk to her. She has adult grandchildren who don't talk to her. She has grandchildren and great-grandchildren who she has never seen. So if you go back to my mother saying, oh, well, the reason why Crystal's grandson doesn't talk to me and my son's granddaughter doesn't talk to me is because they turned them against me. So the logic mind is going to say, well, okay, maybe they did turn their children against you. But when you consider that my son is 46, my niece is 45, my other niece is in her 30s. When you have grown adult people, if they wanted to have a relationship with my mother, they would do so.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Okay.
That's a fact.
And it goes back to not taking accountability. My mother has this thing where when I bring up to her the things that she's done, she says, well, you're holding malice against me. And what I try to explain to her is, no, Ma, I'm trying to hold you accountable. Because the fact that she has done all of these horrible things to me, and I have, quote unquote, forgiven her and still talk to her again. If I were holding malice, I would not have tried to continue on our relationship.
Right.
But the reason why it never stays is because she continues to do the same things over and over and over again. And I'm just to my breaking point. I said to my pastor today, I told him, I said, I'm not ready to say that I've lost my religion. It's getting hard for me to hold on because at 67 years old, I need to understand why all of my life that I have been allowed to suffer. At what point in time does God step in and say, enough, my child? Now, the rhetorical thought process behind this is, oh, well, everything is in God's time. Well, 67 years is 6 decades plus 7.
Enough time, huh?
At what point in time?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
At what point in time will her heart be softened? At what point in time can somebody get to her? And like I said, there's no reasoning with my mother because in her mind, she feels that, oh, well, first of all, she says that, oh, all of this is lies. The difference between what my mother says about me and what I say about her is I have the receipts.
Wow.
She leaves a paper trail.
Right. So
like for instance, when she wrote to the state, when I was a state employee, saying that I was a terrorist.
Wow.
That was a paper trail. So when I got called upstairs, and I can't express to you the level of humiliation when you're sitting among these, white people, and they're telling you about a letter that your mother wrote to them about you.
Wow.
Now, giving God credit, God don't like ugly. Okay, so it in turn it backfired against her because 2 things was in play. Number one, I had been working there for 6 years.
They know your character.
They knew my character.
They know
and
your character.
reputation.
Facts.
Second of all, and this is what me, my siblings, and other people try to tell my mother. When you disparage your own children, it makes you look bad. Now, a woman told me today at my church, because I was telling her about this podcast, and she said, oh yeah, your mother called me and she was telling me all of these terrible things. And I have no reason to believe that she lied.
Wow.
Because this is indicative of my mother. I had where did I had printed it out. My mother would go on, before I blocked her, she would go on Facebook and argue with my friends and call them names.
Wow.
She wrote this to one of my friends. You agreed with that idiot. That's my daughter. You look like an old woman. You need to mind your business. This is a Facebook post that she wrote to my friend.
Wow. So if a person even like one of your comments or comment on it, commenting on your side or going on your side, she does stuff like that.
To my friends, to my family members, she has written notes to my family members because in her mind, it's you should be loyal to her because again, going back to understanding the mind of a narcissist.
Exactly.
It's a hierarchy.
Yeah, it's a power.
I'm the mother.
Narcissistics want power.
I'm the mother.
Yeah.
And
bow down.
Not everything that I do is okay. And this is what I used to try to tell my mother. Just because you're my mother does not mean that you can disrespect me.
Facts.
Before you are my mother, before I'm your daughter, we are human beings with hearts. The fact that you are my mother and you say these things to me is even more heartbreaking. This is why I made it my life's mission to never talk to my son the way I was talked to, because it diminishes you to where I can't even really describe to you
I
how it
can imagine.
feels. And that's another thing. I spoke with another lady, and she was telling me about her experience with
Oh,
her
wow.
narcissistic mother. It's very hard for people to understand because society has groomed us to believe, and which it should be, that your mother is a queen.
I
She's
will
the
love
highest point
my
in the art.
mama because she's my favorite girl. You
Exactly.
only get one. You only get
You
one.
only get one.
Yeah.
But the reason why it's so hard for people to understand is because on a percentage basis, 90% of people, I am in a minority. Me and people like me, we're in a minority. So when you were raised with a loving mother, a mother who was kind, who was understanding, who was caring, who was gentle, to hear me say this, I get two responses. It's either people's minds can't, I had something about that. People can't, they can't relate to it. So,
Right.
oh, well, here it is. Some people will never believe your story because the level of pain goes way beyond their level of awareness.
I can't imagine. They
They
can't
can't
imagine.
imagine it. So the only people that can really understand my story are people who've experienced this and people in the medical field because they
Facts.
understand the psychology behind it.
Facts. Wow. That was a lot to unfold, man. I mean, unpack, as I should say, as they say.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
that's
a
a lot.
lot to
Yeah.
it's a, you know what, I can say that, well, first of all, I'm glad that I broke the quote unquote generational curse. And that's my solace, that my
Yeah.
son cannot tell my story. Second of all, I'm glad that I never succumbed to drugs or other
Wow.
means of self-help. I did have the opportunity. I worked for one of the largest nonprofits in the nation, and I took advantage. They gave us, you can get free therapy, and that was when I was first exposed to therapy. That was when I first was able to put a label as to what my mother is and what I'm
Right.
going against. Because, all of my life, I just thought that,
You didn't
oh,
know.
she's mean and
Yeah.
she's crazy.
Yeah.
So I was able to really understand
I get it.
what
What it
narcissism
really is.
is.
Right.
Mhm.
Wow. I think that your story is definitely going to help thousands of people when they hear it. Um, are you still planning to write a book on it or do something regarding helping those who may be going through this type of situation that you're going through?
Absolutely. Because to quote Queen Maya Angelou,
Mhm.
there is no, what I want to get this right, what she says about bearing an untold story. I don't want to misquote the queen.
No doubt.
She's give me 1 second.
Take your time.
A quote from the great Maya Angelou reads, "There is no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside you." And one of the well, there's several reasons why I want to do this. Number one is time.
Yeah, I
I
feel
have been living in silence and in embarrassment
mm,
and shame for decades. Okay. Um, I need to be able to, first of all, tell my story. Second of all, I believe that I am helping my mother in a sense because I'm hiding it and I'm protecting her. She
wow.
needs to be, see the difference between me telling my story and the things that my mother says about me. She does that to disparage my character.
Right. So she want to get
I'm
to the people first.
I'm telling my story. I'm
Right.
only telling you what happened to me. And like Cat Williams said, if you wanted me to talk better about you, then you should have treated me better.
Yeah, I do better by you.
Okay.
That's real. That's real.
And another reason, this last time it was the proverbial it was the straw that broke the camel's back. Like I said, my son, my brother's son, my my niece, my great niece, all these Dyfs files.
So what makes
Oh,
you?
wait a minute, hear me out. Now
sorry.
we have a 6-month-old baby Dyfs file. So it's like every child, is that the rite of passage to this family? You have to have a Dyfs file? Enough is enough.
That's deep.
Enough is enough. Now, to give you the backstory on this, my mother came up here in August, and she did a good thing. She brought my niece furniture for her house because she didn't have any furniture. She spent, a couple of grand, brought her beautiful, nice furniture. I was there, helped picked it out. Long story short, my niece has, I guess, her baby daddy and whoever else she wants to in her house. My mother caught wind of it. My mother's position is those Negroes can't be on that furniture. They can't sit on. I didn't buy her that furniture for her. So before we broke down, I tried to explain to my mother. I said, Ma, when you buy something for somebody, you do not get to tell them how they use it.
Wow.
You do not get to tell people how to conduct their household. If my niece has 1,000 people living in her house, that's her house. She pays rent there. The only thing you can do is say, well, if it was me, it wouldn't be my house in the discussion.
That's it.
But you can't overstep and, say, well, she can't have such and such on that furniture that I bought.
But that's how it goes in a narcissistic mindset, that like the illness, that's how they feel. Well, because that's a power. It's
control.
Right. Well, control and power.
It's control.
Yeah.
And how the breakdown between me and her over this situation. See, when you talk facts to a narcissistic person, they don't want to hear you. And I was just simply giving my mother a fact that you cannot control her household. So my mother, the way her mind thinks, I was talking down to her. Now, mind you, despite everything that my mother has done, I have never in my entire life cursed her. I have never talked disrespectful to her. And I can talk to her, break it down, I'll stand my ground respectfully.
Right.
The way it correlates in her brain. Oh, you're talking down to me. You're being disrespectful.
And I'm your mother, right? Start shaming.
And what I tried to explain to her is, well, first of all, again, and the reason why I can talk about this like this is because I'm speaking not only as a narcissistic daughter, but as a parent.
Wow.
Okay. Now, here's the difference. My son, brilliant, always has been. I think when he was like in the 5th grade, his IQ was 106 back then. I brag on my son. He's a walking encyclopedia. My son is smart, this, that. You should be proud and happy that your child is smarter than you because, hey, I gave birth to that.
That's right.
Doesn't work that way to my mother. I remember she used to say something like, oh, well, you will never be growner than me. And I used to say, could you make that make sense? Once I turned 18, I was grown. You just get older.
Right.
And I'm not trying to compete with you, but you have to understand, I am a grown woman now. You can't tell me what to do. You can't beat me anymore. You can't punish me. If you don't like what I do, then you can just tell me, but you can't run my life. But to my mother, oh, you were being disrespectful.
Wow. That's heavy. That's heavy. Yeah. I want to say to the people that's on here that I see, I want to say shout out to those who are here. And if you are watching, where are you watching from? What city, what state you're watching from? Peace and blessings to Keith. Much love. Thank you for chiming in. Peace and blessings to E1LTT Saves. Much love to you guys. They said you look great. Talking to you, sis. E1LT also said Mrs. Ball is doing a fantastic job at explaining basically what narcissistic mother is like. Also, peace to, I think that's Jeanette Johnson.
That's my cousin.
What's up, Jeanette Johnson?
She's coming. She's from California. Hey, Jeanette.
In the house. Peace and blessings. Thank you for chiming in. I appreciate you. You can do me a favor, go over there on where we at, which is YouTube, and press subscribe. I appreciate it. More content coming regarding things like this, subject that people don't like to talk about.
Yeah, but you know what? If I could just chime in really quick about my extended family.
Go ahead.
Everybody has a story about my mother.
Wow.
My mother has been ostracized by the family because of how she has treated us and because of her relationships with the family. Now, this past summer, one of my cousins was giving a little mini family reunion. I couldn't go because my mother was here and she wasn't invited.
Wow.
But to my mother, and that's another thing about a narcissist, they don't look at, there's no accountability to them. To them, everybody is either jealous of them, they don't like me. It's always somebody else.
It's always somebody else. Wow.
She never looks at the things that she has done, that she has written, that she has says. I couple years back, I hooked up with somebody on Facebook. And the first thing they said was, "Is your mother still crazy? Is Miss Johnson still she's still cursing people?" My mother was known as the curse out queen. She, and that's her in game to everything. Right. Oh, I'll curse you out. I'll curse you out.
Right. Like that's so powerful and controlling her mouth.
I can remember when I was in high school, and I want to say this for the audience. If you don't take anything else away, that you remember what I said, some of the worst experiences that happened to me in my life were behind my mother. I didn't go to my last year in high school because I have a condition called scoliosis.
Okay.
For those of you, it's a curvature of the spine, and I had to have surgery on my spine, and I had to have a body brace. So it was bad enough, you want to be like everybody else, and you have this body brace on. So but I went to school, and they accepted me. They gave me the nickname Turtle. But
right.
My mother went into my room. And she was searching through my drawers and she found my diary. In my diary, I said that I loved my aunt more than she did.
Oh, why you did that?
She, and I wish that my aunt was my mother. And also there was a letter that my mother had given me to mail and I forgot it.
Wow.
So it's, silly. Instead of me mailing it, still, I hid it in my drawer.
Wow.
Well, my mother was searching through my drawers and she found the letter in my diary. She came to school and she beat me in front of the entire school.
Really?
And because I had the body brace, when you have a body cast on, you're stiff. So I fell down, and when you're down, you can't get up. So the vice principal, Mr. Holliday, came out and pulled her off of me. I never went back to school.
Wow.
I did my last year in high school.
High school.
I did my last year in high school on, they had the tutor come because I was too embarrassed to go back to school.
Wow.
So I could say some of the most hurtful things have been done to me by my mother. Again, when I was in my 30s, I was having a miscarriage. I wasn't sure if I was going to have the baby or not, so I didn't tell anybody. But you know, God saw to it that He didn't want me to have this last child, so I had a miscarriage. I
Right.
was in the hospital. The baby's father panicked and called my mother. My mother says, "quote I hope that bitch and the baby dies." Oh, she didn't tell me she was pregnant. I hope they both die.
Mm.
So
Wow.
and now if for my mother to hear this, oh, she's lying. I never said that. But
Yeah.
I just wanted just to say to the audience, just use common sense.
Yeah, man.
Why would I make these things up?
Right.
First of all, I'm established. I have a business. People know me. If I want to make things up, I'm gonna lie and say that I got a mansion and a yacht.
I know that's right.
I'm gonna say things like that.
No doubt.
But you know, the reason why I'm saying this is because um, I want to be able to express, you know, how I feel. I've been keeping this
How does it
inside
make you
all of
feel
these years.
be able to express this openly right now? How does that make you feel?
Well, I've gotten to the point where I've told this story before. I was trying to get on, and I still am. I'm trying to get on Karamo. That's another thing
No
I
doubt.
want the audience to understand.
Right. Do you think your mother come on Karamo?
Well, this is what I was going to say. The truth is open. The truth doesn't mind being questioned.
Word.
The lie does.
Word.
I have asked my mother and other members of my family to go on Dr. Phil, to come on Karamo, because again, going back to the structure and hierarchy of how narcissists work, they only have people in their sphere who they can manipulate and control.
Or they don't know.
Whereas Dr. Phil or Karama or a person such as yourself, you're on nobody's side because you don't know us.
That's right.
So you're going to ask questions and look at it from an objective point of view.
Facts.
But when you have a narcissist who's crafting these things to go in their favor, they only want to be around people who are going to support their narrative.
That's deep. That's real talk.
So this is what I said. I have asked them, I said, let's take a lie detector. I'm willing to pay for the lie detector.
Wow. Yeah,
because I have nothing to hide. And everything that I say can be corroborated because it's factual. Now, another thing that very important that I should have expressed, when you have a narcissistic mother, their venom poisons the rest of the family. So as a result, the siblings, their sibling rivalry. I have a letter from
That's a fact. That's deep.
My mother, again, on Facebook.
Okay.
To my brother. Your sister Yvette, well, my family calls me by my middle name, is most unhappy because she is a no good piece of trash and she's a piece of garbage and who's talking about me behind my back. There's another letter that I have that she wrote to my sister. Here it is. And you asked me about the dates. The date on this is, if you can see it, 2011. Your sister, this is what she wrote to my sister. Your sister is going around telling people that you are prostituting old men for $400. So what a narcissistic mother does is she creates chaos with her children, and it breaks down the relationship between the children. Now, to this day, I don't talk to my sister because my sister has the narcissistic mindset of my mother. Long story short, my sister was.
Is that genetic? Is it genetic?
It's learned behavior.
Learned behavior. Got you.
Because if it was genetic, then I would have been like that too.
And your children would have been like that.
It's learned behavior. And you have to be cognizant to understand A, something is wrong.
Right.
And B, to get help for it and to
Mhm.
break the generational curse. And I will continue to say it.
I know that's right.
That is my solace in all of this, because my son cannot tell this story because he doesn't know what it's like to have a mother who doesn't love him.
What is it that made your son or your children, other than the calls that your mother made to Dyfs on them, what else was it that made your son stay away that long? Was it just that, or what did he see
No,
as the characteristics?
the same. It's the same pattern of behavior: the cursing,
Got
the
it.
beating, the disrespectful, the dysfunction.
Right.
What happened with my son? My son hasn't spoken to my mother since he was 19. He went down to her house to stay because she was going to pay for his college education and buy him a car for graduating. Things fell apart, and he called me, and it was like some odd hour in the morning, 1, 2 o'clock, and he's like, "Mom, I got to get out of here." And I'm like, "What's happening?" He's like, "Your mother's going crazy. She's cursing at me. She's beating me. I have to get out of here." She locked him in the bathroom. My son had to climb out the bathroom window and walk 5 miles to the Greyhound bus station because I had a ticket for him.
Wow.
He walked out with just the clothes on his back, and he walked 5 miles, and he never talked to my mother from that day. Now,
Wow.
another story I want to tell you.
Wow.
Fast forward when my son got married, and of course, my mother was not invited to the wedding, and she was very upset about that. On the day my son got married, my mother went on Facebook, called his wife all kinds of derogatory names, said that the marriage wasn't going to last.
Mm.
And I was so upset. And my father, God bless his soul, because he's no longer here. My father had what we learned in therapy. It's called the ostrich syndrome. With that is, an ostrich sticks their head in the sand,
Mm-hmm.
so that they can't see what's going on around them. So my father was an enabler because he didn't try to stop my mother a lot of times with the abuse that she did, or either he would say, "Oh, well, you know how your mother is, just ignore it."
Yeah.
And I was so upset that she had said those things about my son on his wedding day.
Wow.
And I was driving, and I had to pull over because the tears, I couldn't see.
Word.
Because I was like, "Daddy, why can't you say anything to, my mother?" But getting back to why my son didn't talk to my mother. So he never talked to her since he was 19.
Wow. Keith says this. Keith says he's proud of you. Proud of you first, cuz.
Oh, that's my cousin.
He said it takes strength to do this. So thank you for chiming in, Keith. Please share it if you could, because it's going to help other people. I appreciate you for chiming in, and do me the favor and like, subscribe. Also, Baby Cliff, I think it is, or Baby Girl. Baby Girl says, "Great job, cuz. Great job." Thank you for chiming in to you, Baby Girl. Also, E1LT Saves says, "It's genetic. All children are not born with that gene. However, we know it's genetic because narcissism cannot be reversed with therapy." Wow. Wow.
I'm gonna be subjective to
that myself, because some people that I know of that's narcissistic, it's kind of true, because therapy wouldn't help it either. I've known people that has gone through intensive therapy and they're still the same.
Okay, but okay. First of all, maternal narcissism and narcissism in general, two different animals. Okay.
Explain that.
We all have narcissistic tendencies. That's human nature.
Right.
It is only when it gets abnormal when a child can tell the kind of stories that I'm telling.
Come on.
Is when it's off the chain. But in terms of, listen, and this is full transparency. A child live what they learn. When I was coming up, I had a lot of tendencies like my mother too. However, I realized as I was getting older, this was not normal. I realized that I needed to change. Now, granted, I had the benefit of professional therapy. I did a lot of reading. I did a lot of research. But part of understand, and this is any disorder, any addiction, you have to realize and accept within yourself, I have a problem. It's just like when people are on drugs.
Facts.
You can tell that person they stop doing drugs, this, that, until they realize, hey, I have a problem, and they accept it. It's not going to do any good.
I think I'm going to go with E1L, and I'm gonna look it up a little more. Somebody's trying to call in. Hold on for a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm so sorry about that. Excuse me, you guys, for that little break, real quick. Yeah, that's heavy, heavy. But what I want to say is, I'm going to go with just not learned behavior. I'm going to go with a little on the genetic side, because I want to say that even though a person may not eat the same way, someone in their family or their genetics may have eaten. The diabetes may be just laying dormant because of that bloodline. Just as mental may be laying dormant in that bloodline. So you may get a spectrum of it far as the narcissistic traits of the illness. It may be there laying dormant depending on what happens in the process of your life that actually triggers it. So if a person don't got diabetes, don't have certain sicknesses or traits, that's why they always ask you when you go in the hospital, did your mother have diabetes? This diabetes running in the family? If a person don't have those traits, but if they do the same exact things that those people in their past or their bloodline did or was doing, they automatically get that same sickness. So, of course, I'm going on that side of the genetics, because it may hit this one, skip that one. Hit this one, skip that one. Hit this one, and skip this one, that one. Speak to that. But, so I'm on your side, E1L.
Okay. Let me break this down for you.
Go ahead, baby.
First of all, I'm gonna play it with you for a little, even though that's not true, and therapists will tell you that's not true. That it's learned behavior. However, At some, let me put it like this. We know basic right from wrong. All mothers are not necessarily quote unquote good mother. Now, was I the best mother? Heck no. I made some mistakes. In retrospect, I used to move around a lot. And I realize now that, and I wish that I had given my son a more stable, he always had his own room. He always had his own TV. We always had food and everything. But I would move. Oh, I don't like this apartment. I'm moving. And, I would uproot the kid. And, and I remember one time he was crying and he said, but Mom, I'm going to lose all my friends. And I remember telling him, oh, you're going to get new friends. And I have always, regretted that. But the point that I'm stressing is that you know right from wrong. Okay. And while we may not be the best mothers, in your case, the best fathers, you know the difference between disciplining your child and beating your child. Okay. I used to get beat so bad that my wrists, and I would have whelps on me and they would keep me home from school. Okay. That's how badly I was beat. And there's no, and see, again, we go back to holding accountable. One of my mother's battle cries is she likes to say, oh, well, I'm a college graduate. I have 2 master's degrees. So you should be educated enough to know that how you're talking to your child, that writing to your child's job, contacting your child's friends on Facebook, and doing these type of things is not right. So that's what I say. You at some point in time, even if the trait is there for the so-called as you want to call it, what do you call it? Genetics. And we've all heard, just like people are sitting here, they've heard that, maybe not from me,
right,
but they've heard stories before. So somewhere in the back of your mind, you know the difference between right and wrong, and what you are and what you're not supposed to do. Okay. That's why we were kept home from school, because they knew that if they saw the whelps and that there would be consequences.
I'm proud of you too, because the same thing that Keith said, being proud of you, because this is hard for someone to actually come out and speak on, because there are people your age and older that never spoke on stuff like this. And a lot of that stuff is still eating them up on the inside.
It's a part of, see, again, this is where therapy is important, because had I not had therapy, I could have either gone down the same path as my mother, or I could have resorted to drugs. It manifests itself into your life in other ways. So the big thing about this is acceptance, understanding it. And I do have a support base in my extended family and my friends who witnessed it, who feel, who gave me empathy, who gave me support and friendship, because I did not have these things in my mother. So the important thing is, and this is what I would recommend for everybody, get therapy. Therapy is very important.
No doubt.
Nowadays, you can go online and get therapy.
Yeah, they have
so you can read up on it. Educate. Knowledge is power. And because I have the knowledge, I had the power not to make the same mistakes and to understand exactly what it is that I'm dealing with and what I'm facing. Because, like I said, this is a part of my life. This is who I am. For many years, I was ashamed. I was embarrassed. And, I would, pretend, when I hear other people talk about their mothers, and, I would, and knowing in my heart that I didn't feel this way.
Right.
Now, see, like I said now, and I talked to my pastor, who is a great guy. My pastor is like one of the best pastors around. He's very kind-hearted, loving, understanding, non-judgmental. And I said to him, I said, Pastor, I said, I don't want to say that I'm losing my faith, but I'm there. And he hugged me and he says, we're gonna talk, because just look at it from my point of view. It's like this has been going on for years and years. And what I don't understand is that my mother, doing all of these evil things, she continues to live, but other people is just like dying, good people
Yeah.
dying around. And I'm like, how does this work? You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Why? Why? It's just crazy. And I'm not saying that, oh, I want her to die.
You don't want to die. Yeah, I know.
I'm not saying that, but and it's crazy because my mother said to me during our last, when we broke, after we had our last fallout, oh, karma is a bitch. And I said to her in text, I was like, Ma, were you looking in the mirror when you wrote that to me?
Yeah.
Because God saw all of the nasty letters you wrote. He heard all the nasty things you did, all of the deception, all of the bad things that you did. And, and my mother is under the misguided conception that she goes to church every Sunday. Big giant hat, sits up there, hallelujah, Jesus Christ, thanks the Lord.
Right.
And she pays a lot of tithes. What she doesn't understand is you can't buy your way into heaven.
Can't buy your way into heaven.
You're funding the church, but you are going to have to make, when Judgment Day, you're going to have to concede for all of the things that you did and you said. And she just does not, like I said, when you bring it up to her, she's like, oh, well, you're holding malice against me. You're holding it against me. No, Ma, I'm holding you accountable.
Word.
My mother has not once in my entire life said that she was sorry, or neither has she ever admitted to. Right now, my mother, if she was watching all of this, she would say, oh, she's lying. I never said any of those things. I never said any of these things. And it's crazy that, you can do all of these things. And like I said, in one of the things where she says, oh, show this to people. So I'm telling it to people. But in her mind, oh, well, you were wrong. You shouldn't go on the internet and talk about your mother. Like, I'm telling my story.
Word.
I'm telling what you did to me.
Right. Right. You're gaining your power within too, because I think after going through stuff like that, I can imagine how powerless you felt at the time before you started going to therapy and before you started seeing the light to say, damn, this is not normal.
I tried to kill myself.
Wow. Explain that.
When I was, I guess, 14, so when they had the summer youth jobs.
That was like CETA and stuff like that.
CETA, there you go. And they were giving out the applications, and I didn't have a Social Security card.
Okay.
So I went down to the Social Security office and I got my application, and it needed a parental signature. At the time, I was 14, 15 years old. My mother was at work, so I went to my grandmother's house. Now, I need to digress a little bit. Another part of narcissistic parents is they use the children as weapons. So there were times in my life when I was forbidden, me and my brothers and sisters, we were forbidden to talk to my grandmother, which is my father's mother, or my aunts. So during that particular time, when I went to my grandmother's house to get my Social Security application signed, I wasn't supposed to be there, but I got so excited. So I went to my grandmother's house. She signed the application, and I got into the program. Right. So I was so happy to tell my mother. And when my mother learned that I had went to my grandmother's house, my mother beat me unmercifully.
Wow.
and she beat me with a wooden hockey. Well, no, I'm getting ahead of the story. She told me that she was going to beat me, and in a panic, I ran out the front door, the back door, wherever. I ran out the opposite door where she was, and I went up to the supermarket and I stole a bottle of aspirin.
Wow.
I came back home and I took all of the aspirin. So then when it was time, that was when she beat me with the wooden hockey stick, because I ran away, and I think it was my brother and a couple of the neighborhood, they brought me back. It reminded me of the scene of Roots with Kunta Kinte.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
It's funny I can laugh about this now, but
That's a blessing. That's a blessing, man.
they brought, and she beat me with this wooden hockey stick, and
Mhm.
I can remember my wrists and my arms and my hands. It was abnormal, and by that time, the aspirin started kicking in,
Mm.
and I fell out.
Wow.
And they had to take me to Orange Memorial Hospital, and they had to pump my stomach. And guys, I'm telling you, you never want that done, because they got to put the things up your nose. And they asked me what, and I wouldn't tell them, because I
Wow.
was afraid that, to be able to tell on my mother.
Right. Right.
So
You trying to save your mother, actually. The disloyal and being disrespectful and all that. All, you know what I mean?
well, at that time I was young, and
Right.
I lived in fear.
Right.
And so the takeaway to that story is that my social security card will always be tied to that incident in my life. And that's
Wow.
why I say some of my worst memories are tied to things that my mother either did or said to me.
You mentioned something to me. Also, I don't know if that was the story. The time your head or something in your face was busted or something like
Well,
that.
no, that was the time that she beat me with an extension cord, and I carried a mark
Right.
on my face.
Well,
Um,
years ago, that was normal. In the 60s and 70s.
to beat your children with, yeah.
Yeah, while they wet and all that stuff, and get in the tub, get out the tub, and beat you down.
Where is my son? I need him to call in,
If you're there, son, go ahead and call in. I have the
because
phone number.
these are things that I said that my son would never experience.
Experience. I know that's right.
That is abnormal to beat your child. And I think that maybe because I was beat so much, sometimes maybe I was a little less lenient. I was a little too lenient on my son.
Because of
Now,
that.
I wish I would have thought to pull it out. What I used to do with my son, because I never wanted him to be beat. Well,
Right.
first of all, I never wanted to put marks on him.
No doubt.
But I would subject my son to, as punishment, writing lessons.
Writing. Wow. Which is an
I would make him write
excellent punishment.
hundreds of times.
Hmm.
What I will not do this, and I had one that I saved him.
Yeah, really?
So
Wow.
I would either make him write, or I would take the TV away, or take away his games or
Right.
whatever. But I can remember feeling so small, so inconsequential. And that was another thing. For years, I thought that I was ugly, and I
Mhm.
thought that I suffered with horrible self-esteem issues, because I never. That is a feeling. Although you hear me describing it, you have to feel it to know what I'm talking about. But just
Big
to give
difference.
you an example, just imagine the weight of maybe like a car on your back. That's
Wow.
how low and how heavy it is when your parent takes away your self-esteem, when your parent makes you feel ugly, inconsequential.
Mm.
Like I said, my mother used to call me bitches and motherfuckers and whores, so much to the point where I was desensitized. Somebody would say the word bitch, I'm like, hey, that's me,
Wow.
because it's because that's, and I wanted to make sure I never, ever made my son feel that way. As a matter of fact, I was the exact opposite. When his friends used to come over, I would run in the kitchen and make lemonade and popcorn and come with the tray. And he'd be like, Mom, you're embarrassing me. Or I would call him these little funny names like,
Yeah.
you know, Honey Bunny and, you know, Love Boy. And he'd be like, Mom, please don't say
Embarrass me, Mom. Come on now.
and it would just blow my mind because I was like, wow, my mother used to call me exact opposite, you know.
Yeah. That's
So,
deep, man. That's deep. So if you want to call in, if you're around, you're looking, you're peeking, son, just give us a call. Your mother wants you to chime in.
I would love for him. I would
Yeah.
love for him to be able to call because and you know, I've had this conversation with my son. You know, how would he react? And he said,
Right.
Mom, if that was you, I would have killed you a long time.
It would have been over. Son say ain't playing no games, not in this day and time. I know that's right. Wow. So if anybody want to call and they could, if you put your comment, you can also put your comment on the comment board. I appreciate it. Yeah, man, this is really deep and uncomfortable. And I can imagine people that's watching that experience this. I can imagine how they're feeling right now just by hearing you. So I'm quite sure your book, your podcast, or whatever you're doing to actually be something that you can give back from this experience. I know that it's going to be phenomenal. I know it's going to be, you know.
You know what? In addition to giving back, because that's important, what I would like to do, if I were to know that I was going to die next week or next month or whatever, what I would like to do, I would like for my whole family, I want all of us to sit down and talk about it. Because you see, like I said, the narcissistic venom extends to the other parts of the family.
Right.
Now, and I had begun telling that story about my sister. My sister didn't like the fact that I had jurisdiction over her visitation rights for her granddaughter. She had to go through me. The judge appointed me. Now, in a normal, non-cystic, non-narcissistic, non-dysfunctional family, you go to the court and you file a motion in an opposition. My sister instead called Dyfs, told Dyfs that I was a child molester, that I had molested the granddaughter, that I had beat her, and that when she came to my house, she slept on a pile of dirty clothes, and that she didn't have I didn't feed the child. Now, Dyfs has a fiduciary obligation to investigate all claims. Dyfs doesn't know. Dyfs immediately went to my niece's house. Actually, I'm talking about my great niece.
Got it.
Woke the child up. The baby was 3 years old. Woke her up at like 3 o'clock in the morning, stripped her down, photographed her, and interrogated this child while she was in tears for over an hour.
Wow.
Very next morning, they came to my house. And when, you know, let me explain to you how it
Take your time.
to have those type of, when that woman was reading those charges to me, it was a combination of me being enraged, humiliation, and sadness that my sister would stoop to such levels. Now, again, I go back to God don't like ugly and your reputation precedes you.
Facts.
Since 2002, I have run my own children's program. I had a dance program and I had my Educate Enlighten. I am known in the community as Miss Jumpy. I do face painting. I teach the children fitness with my jump rope program. So when I was able to show her the list of my client rosters that include a lot of prestigious organizations, prestigious people. As a matter of fact, the late Lieutenant Governor Sheila Oliver was one of my supporters and followers.
Nice.
Then once the woman actually talked to me, well, first of all, when she came in my house and she looked down at the hardwood floor, she was like, I can see my reflection in here. So I wanted to give her a tour of the house. She says, we're not going to do that. She says, I can't waste it. And I told her, I said, well, look, if you want me to take a drug test, I don't need a day. I'll get in your car. Let's go right now. She's like, no, the state is not going to waste resources. She says, and in talking to you, I can, see that none of this is true. But, she had a fiduciary obligation.
Yeah, of course.
To investigate the claim.
No doubt.
But how this ties into my mother, this is the thinking that my sister has because she got it from my mother. Oh, I'm going to get you. Now, my sister knows that my sister used to be on one of my board members. So she knows that I run a child business. She knows that I have a 3-bedroom apartment. My niece had not only her own room when she was here, but her own bathroom. I have 2 bathrooms. And she also said that I was so drunk that when I dropped the child off, that I would lay on her steps and I would be laid out drunk. So Dyfs wanted to ask her, well, where are the pictures? What do you have to corroborate this? But it goes to show you, like I said, how it extends down, because in my sister's mind, she was doing the right thing.
Now listen to this. I just put in a research the narcissist, the genetic component.
Okay.
I'm back at you, my man. I don't know this.
E1LT saves.
Yeah. That's a dude or a female?
I don't know.
Okay, so that's E1LT saves. Much love again to you. I'm on your side. So it goes back to my point. And I looked at it, it says the genetic component. Research suggests that personality traits linked to narcissism, like low empathy, high entitlement, dominance, and need for admiration, can be partially heritable. Studies on twins show that about 40 to 60% personality traits can be influenced by genetics. All right?
Okay.
All right. And can be influenced by genetics that includes traits related to narcissistic personality disorder, NPD. This is why I say it can hit some hard. It can hit some, you can correct it because you got a balance. You know what I mean? And, I think that I really believe that it really is genetic. Far as emotional regulations, patterns, and stuff like that. It definitely plays, and it plays a huge role. You know what I mean? Yeah. So,
but at what point in time
E1
do you look at yourself
right
and say, "Hey, this is wrong"?
Right, but here's the thing, though. There's a spectrum. So there's a level. At the level of 10 that you mentioned to me, about a 10, there might not be. It is impossible. Even therapy can't help it. To the point where some people may have that highest point of the spectrum that they need medication. So it may not be able to be helped. That's why when you keep saying, but at what point? Ain't none.
ELTY lady.
Learn.
She said,
oh, that's your name, Arlene. Arlene. Okay, Arlene Ramsey.
Oh, Arlene Ramsey. Oh, yeah, she's definitely a lady.
I am a lady. Okay. Much love. Thank you for,
she's
I'm not sure.
She's a good person. She's a good person. I used to work with her in the community.
Thank you for chiming in, Arlene. I appreciate you. If you can do me the favor and share this, because I think it will help somebody else that's going through it. Yeah, so I really believe that genetics plays a part.
Well, I guess we're just going to have to respectfully agree to disagree, because I really do believe that it's learned behavior and that it can be corrected. And at some point, at some level, you have to know that this is not right.
Right. But it's definitely purely not genetic. I'm not saying that. But I feel, and I just read it. I just read it literally. It says, yes, narcissistic behavior can have a genetic component, but it is not purely genetic. You know what I mean? So yeah, thank you again, Miss Lady, for chiming in. Where you calling from, or where you are chiming in from? What city and state? Are you in Jersey or what?
Yeah, she's in Jersey.
Okay,
Oh,
cool.
I don't know. Let me stop. She might have moved.
Yeah, she probably moved. Yeah, let me know where you're from. Do me the favor, like, share the page. I really appreciate it if you could, and if you can also subscribe, because we're going to have a lot of different topics as such. And this particular podcast is 2. This is number 2. I do have another one online as well, which is 1. I didn't name it 1, but we talked about it a lot on that first particular podcast on YouTube. But yeah, so do me the favor and share. Um, that's a hard pill to swallow. And on top of all of the things that you've gone through, on top of you trying to delete yourself at that young age, that's a lot to unpack.
Water. My cousin wants to know what's in that red cup.
What's in that red cup?
Water.
Agua.
Oh.
Yeah, so ELT, Arlene said also, she said, it's on a spectrum, and people with antisocial personality disorders are exactly evil. Their behavior is right to them. Their behavior is right to them. That's deep. That's real. Real point. She said a great show. I thank you by supporting. I appreciate if you can subscribe. It's free. I appreciate it. You know what I mean? Thank you for chiming in. I appreciate that. Yeah, man. So I think I had a few more questions for you, but this is heavy, man. This is heavy, and a lot of people are going through it. They don't talk about it.
They don't talk about it.
They don't talk about it.
Well, it's number one, like I said, it's you get it's stigmatized. Mm-hmm. Second of all, who wants to admit that their mother isn't perfect? Listen, in my imaginary world, yeah, my mother is perfect. My mother is beautiful. My mother's. When I hear people talk about, the case in point, a guy who I was recently dating. I'm not dating him anymore. Mm-hmm. But I was so proud of him because he was talking about his mother just recently passed, and about how he was taking care of her, how he nursed her, how he, and that's how it should be. I saw something recently on Facebook and it says, should adult children take care of their parents when they're older? And
absolutely,
a lot of people were saying, oh, well, you should. Some people. And me, now, when my father was going through it, I went there and I cut my father's nails and helped wash his face. Don't judge me when I don't know if I could do that with my mother.
Hey, that's honesty. That's straight.
Because you know why? I don't feel, I'm so disconnected with my mother.
Right.
Like even like when she came up here and when I picked her up at the train station. Right. Hugging her and saying hi, I felt so uncomfortable. Now my friends and people who I know, I give them love the hug. Yeah. My mother, I felt strange. And like when I hear her say things like, oh yeah, I cried. And I say to myself, you have tears?
Wow.
It's like, yeah, I feel so uncomfortable.
Yeah, I get it.
Because I've never had that kind of relationship with my mother. And I feel so detached from her. Mm-hmm. And another thing that I wanted to let the audience know was that for many years, my mother would dangle her money in front of me, and I took the bait. not realizing that the payback would be in blood. So I had to unlearn that behavior, and then that she would always say, oh, well, I'm going to disinherit you. I'm going to take you out of the will. And those material things, first of all, I can't miss what I never had.
No doubt.
Second of all, my mother puts a lot of emphasis on material things. And, the money, I'll give you this money, but I have to pay you back in blood. And it's not worth it.
Deep.
So I had to, rethink my whole process. Like, for instance, this apartment that I'm in now, my mother wired me the money because I was living in a very bad part of Newark. There were 2 murders on my block. And my electricity went out at the same time. So I was there in a dangerous block with no electricity, and we were having one of those desert heat summers. No electricity. It was really horrible. And I was working, but I needed to get another paycheck so that I could have money for rent security. Right. So my mother was like, oh, well, I'm going to send you what she did. She wired me like $5,000. Had enough money for rent, security, moving, the whole 9. So once I got here and I got settled, I was like, oh, I want to be able to pay you back. Oh, you don't have to pay me back. As soon as she got mad at me, she went on Facebook. Oh, if it wasn't for me, she wouldn't be in that apartment.
Wow.
I'm the one who gave, and this has been going on for years. And I have another story. I happen to have this here. I want you guys to see this ring.
Thank you for subscribing, E1. Go ahead.
See this ring here, right?
Oh, I see it.
See what it says? It's about $3,000.
Got it.
My mother bought this ring for me, and I'm going to tell you why. My ex and I we were planning on getting married. Long story short, and another reason why I have this mindset, I am opposed to materialistic things, to money, to labels, because that's my mother's world. So I fight hard to try to be the opposite of her.
Wow, that's
so
heavy.
How this ties into the story about the ring and my ex. He wanted to buy me a $4,000 engagement ring. I didn't want that ring for 2 reasons. Number 1, I like costume jewelry. And number 2, I wanted to have that money for our honeymoon. So this was when my dad was still alive. My mother and father had come up here. My mother calls my ex-boyfriend into the kitchen and gives him this ring to give me.
You didn't know nothing about it.
No, he was like, why would your mother do this? This is again the control. And you got to look at it, from his perspective. First of all, he's a man. He doesn't. Right. You don't take that from your girlfriend's mother.
Right.
And had we used that ring, then that would have been something else. And she was, I'm the one who bought that. You see what I'm saying?
He didn't have the money. He ain't had no money.
And I need to, while we're on this story, he used to get up at his normal time to leave the house was like 6 o'clock in the morning to go to work. I noticed when my mother and when my parents were here, he was getting up at 4 o'clock and leaving at like 5. He didn't tell me until after they left that my mother was trying to disparage my character to him. That she was trying to talk about me to him. And my mother has done this with my neighbors. She has done this with my coworkers.
Wow.
She has done this with people in the family. I told you, a lady today at church told me, oh yeah, your mother called me and was trying to talk to me about you. She did it at my last church. And then when that didn't work, she had rumors going around that I was sleeping with the pastor.
Wow. Deep. So yeah, that's heavy, man. I mean, like you said, like we said earlier, some people can't imagine this stuff right here. They can't
Well,
even
I'm
fathom the
living
thought.
proof. I'm
Yeah.
living proof. And like I said, I challenge anybody in my family. I will meet you on Karama. I will meet you on Dr. Phil. They will pay for the lie detector test.
Word.
Because see, the difference between what I say about my family and what they say about me is that, and I don't want to get into it on this show, but
I get it.
you see what this says here?
Part two. We can do part two.
New Jersey. I have documents. All of the things that I say is backed up with court documents, DIFUS records, and their own Facebook posts. I got receipts.
Wow.
And so I challenge anybody in my family, if you in my immediate family, because my extended family, I don't have this problem. They all love me. I all love them. But my immediate family, let's do this.
How many DIFUS cases altogether would you say was put on your family by your mother?
Everybody in my immediate family, starting with me, I'm the oldest, and my son is the oldest. So it started with him. Okay, then my brother's daughter is a year younger than my son. She got her DIFUS filed. My mother called DIFUS on my brother with my niece. Then my sister, my mother called DIFUS on my sister with her daughter. And my youngest brother only by default because he doesn't have any kids. Okay. So all of our children have DIFUS files, and it's not because we were bad parents. It's because my mother uses DIFUS
A straight spite
as a vendetta against us. Oh, I'm mad at you. I'm gonna call DIFUS.
Yeah.
Not understanding, and like I said, the venom extended down to my sister because my sister did the same thing with her daughter. And let me tell you how dysfunctional this is. Because of DIFUS's intervention in her with the visitation, she and my niece have to meet each other at the police station to pick up her granddaughter.
Wow.
My great niece. Now, me and my brothers and sisters, my childhood memories are of at my grandmother's house, that homemade cake baking in the oven, the chicken frying, us playing and having fun. My great niece memories is, oh yeah, I had to be picked up at the police station. Okay. And this is what I'm saying with this whole DIFUS, with this whole narcissistic, you are so fixated on getting the person back and hurting them. You don't understand what you're doing to the child. Like when my sister made that false accusation against me and DIFUS was dispatched to the child's house immediately.
Wow.
My 3-year-old niece had to be strip searched and photographed by DIFUS and interrogated for an hour. That's going to be on this child's mind
forever.
There is no way in the world. First of all, my son is a great father. And he told me something one day that made me cry. He was having some sort of disciplinary problem with his son. And he was telling me how he was handling it. And he says, yeah, Mom, he says, I learned a lot of things from you. He says, and I'm applying them to my. That touched me, man, because I was like, wow.
I know that's right.
Wow. This it's making me want to cry a little bit right now, because the fact that my son can never tell this story, that means the world to me.
You did a great job, man.
That means the world to me. And like I said, I wasn't the best parent. I moved around a lot. And, I probably, slipped through the cracks here or there. But the one thing that my son he can never
I'm
say.
proud of you for that. So proud of you for that.
What I say,
Word.
that I didn't love him and that he doesn't, my son knows what it's like.
He
knows what it's like to have the love of a mother.
That's
And
a
that's
blessing.
something that I will never know what it's like
Yeah.
to know what it feels like, because like my mother used to say, you're not my equal. And I used to ask her, what does that mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm your equal. First of all, we're all God's children, equal on that point. I'm equal in terms of I have a heart, I have a feelings, I have skin and bones and brains. So we're equal as humans. And I'm not trying to outshine you as my mother, but
Right.
you have to understand, just because I don't agree with you, just because I want to do things different, doesn't put me at odds.
Right.
It
I'm
just
not
makes
your
me,
enemy.
I'm not your enemy.
Right.
And you shouldn't punish me for it just
Mm.
because now my son, sometimes I'm like, I'm taking you to Maury. Because my son is the total opposite of, he's, first of all, like I said, he's brilliant,
No doubt.
but he thinks this like he's like way out there. And like I was raised in the church Christian, he's an atheist,
Okay.
and I took him to church all of his life.
Wow.
But I'm intrigued by his thought process. I
No
want to
doubt.
know more. I want to learn more. And
Wow.
even when we clash on things, I
Mhm.
don't turn against him.
That's right.
I try to understand where he's coming from. And even when now my son has done some things in his life that I'm not, I felt that he could have done better.
Right.
But hold on. Cuz are you on the podcast?
I'm watching it, but I gotta watch it on my phone. I couldn't get it on my TV. Stop the crying. You're doing so good. I'm so proud of you.
That's what's up.
Okay, all right, let me get back.
No, tell her to call the number.
He said, call the number. Call
Nine
in.
nine
Yeah, now
one.
this you would love you want to hear
Right. So
from
I
this
want you to give
person
her
here.
the number 1973.
973
Put it one first. 1973.
1973
433
433
5666.
The number that he wants you to call in on. I can't, because I can't look at you if I'm calling.
That's okay. You don't have to look. Just call. She don't have to look. Just call.
He said you don't have to look, just call. But she's afraid she's gonna lose the
Oh.
Yeah,
Well, here, you know what, Niecy?
Okay.
Niecy, do you want to say something?
Listen, that's okay.
I just want to say what I'm saying to you. Don't
I can hear it.
I'm proud of you. I got your back. I grew up with you all my life. We was in the crib together.
This is my cousin.
And I know every story you are telling. I know every last one of them, because you done told. If you ain't told nobody else's story, you told me.
Well, not only that, cuz you experienced some of this that I've gone through.
Experienced it. Yes, I have.
Yeah.
But I can't call in. I can't text it because I'm looking at it on my phone.
Okay. Well, let me get back to the show.
Wow. Thank you.
I love you too.
Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, that's my cousin. She
And what's her name?
Ironically, my mother attacked her once on Facebook.
Hello. What's her name?
Her name is Niecy. We call her Niecy.
Niecy, thank you again for chiming in. We heard your
Clara Roper.
We appreciate you for chiming in and confirming Miss Ball's story. We appreciate you. Thank you.
One time my mother attacked her on Facebook,
Oh,
called
really?
her all kinds of names.
Mhm.
Because my mother made a derogatory comment about her boyfriend. And, she defended her boyfriend. My mother called her all kinds of names. And my cousin, the one who just called in, I can remember her crying like a small child because she says, I've never done anything to your mother. Why is she talking to me like this? Why? But that's what my mother does. That's the type of thing that she does. If you disagree with her, or if you correct her, she immediately attacks you. So, you know.
Wow, that's deep. That's deep. So EL1T says, we had no support. First, he said, I'm proud of the support you coming from. I'm so proud and support you coming.
Where you're coming
forward.
from, yeah.
Right. She said she's so proud of you, for coming forward. And she said, we suffered in silence for years. She also says, we had no support. Other family members attacked us.
Mm-hmm.
We were scapegoats, treated like human trash cans. They see us as enemies because spiritually, we work for God. They don't and understand that I think it stopped right there. Let me just put up a comment. Yeah, that would come from E1LT, which is Arlene. Again, right?
Arlene
Okay.
Ramsey.
Thank you for your comment. Appreciate you. Yeah, that's
heavy. And that's true, because what happens in a narcissistic family is you take turns. Like, there's times when I'm the favorite child. There's times when my brother's the favorite child. My sister's the favorite child. And then what she does is, a narcissistic mother pits the children against us, like that letter that I read where she said that I was saying my sister. So what she'll do is she'll talk about one child to the other child and get them on the side, and the weaker children go to her side. Now, I can say me and my brother, we're more or less, me and my older brother, we're more or less the independent ones.
Y'all stronger.
We're stronger. Whereas she was able to manipulate my sister and my younger brother.
So is your sister younger than you?
I'm the oldest.
Right, got you.
I'm older than everybody.
Got it.
So, you know, and once you break away from the narcissistic stronghold, you, like Arlene says, they ostracize you. You know, I can say, with the exception of my older brother, he's like me. He's an independent thinker, a free thinker.
Right.
But my younger brother and sister, they would, until they fell out. And ironically, they don't talk to my mother. To the point where they didn't even come to my father's funeral because of my mother.
Wow.
Okay.
That's deep.
So, and like I said,
hold on. I think Arlene calling in.
Okay.
Yes, Arlene.
Hi, this is Arlene.
Hey, Arlene.
Thank you for calling in.
The number on the show. I have to tell Yolanda. Well, I don't know. Should I start saying anything yet, or should wait?
You can. Did you call the 973 number?
I did.
Okay.
973.
Yeah. Okay. Do me a favor. Call back. Do it again, because I have to put it through the system. Go ahead and do it right now. Call back right now.
Okay.
Thanks. Wow. Arlene calling in, so let me make sure I grab that call. This, okay. Give me 1 minute, Arlene. Let me go to the air. Okay. Yeah, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
While you're doing that, I'm going to take a quick little break.
Yes, can you hear me? Hold on for a minute. Can you hear me, Arlene? Let me share it. Hold on. Stay there. Can you hear me, Arlene? Can you hear me? Arlene, can you hear me? I'm trying to get you to...
Maybe I'm on hold.
No, you're not on hold. Can you hear me? You have to come off of Facebook, or off YouTube. You have to hang up your YouTube. That's why you're not able to hear me. You have to hang up your YouTube. I don't think she hear me at all. She can't hear me at all. Yeah, she can't. Won't you call her and tell her to hang up on YouTube? Do not have YouTube on when she call. Can you hear me, sis? Check, check, check. Miss Ball. Miss Ball, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
Yeah. I was telling you to tell her to call, but hang up YouTube. She can't be on
Can't hear
YouTube.
you?
Yeah, she couldn't hear me. I can hear her, but she couldn't hear me.
What'd you say? Arlene, hang up and call on YouTube?
Yes. Hang up on YouTube.
Hang up on YouTube, Arlene.
And call from a phone.
From a phone.
Right, because I think she has YouTube on at the same time, so the mic is not, I guess, not picking up. Tell her try it again.
Okay, try it again.
Yeah, you just called. I see that you just called, but you can't be on YouTube, I think, for some reason. I don't know, because I heard you, but you couldn't hear me. All right. So we're going to stop sharing that. Yeah, we'll worry. This is a deep situation, deep conversation, man. I'm happy we're having this conversation because it's definitely needed for those who are watching. You may know people who have gone through this. I'm gonna try it again, okay?
I was.
Hold on 1 minute. Hold on. I'm gonna try it again. What's good? Can you hear me now? Peace. Can you hear me now? Hello?
Hello?
You can hear me?
I hear her.
I hear her too, but for some reason,
Hello?
you can't hear us.
Technology.
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't know why that's happening, but usually it goes on no problem. Let me just try to put in another one. Let's see. All right, we're gonna try it again if she called back. I don't know why it's happening, but it's not happening. Yeah. I'm sorry for some reason. Try one more time, and if it don't go, we're gonna charge it to technology. All right. Try it one more time, and if it don't go through, we're gonna charge it to technology, and we're gonna go on ahead with Crystal Ball's story. And once again, I thank each and every last one of you guys for chiming in. Really appreciate it. It means a lot. So we're gonna have her try one more again, and that's it. All right, but go ahead and continue what you were saying, Ms. Ball. And
I was just in straightening up my papers. I came across one of the things that I have tried ad nauseum, and of course, this is why I'm here. It doesn't work. Is I try to reason with my mother. I try to talk to her in a rational way to try to get her to understand my point of view, which is impossible with a narcissistic personality because they think that they are right. So one time I guess I had sent her, this is something from Facebook, and I guess we were going back and forth, and I must have tried to send something to reason to her, and this was her response. Kiss my ass, you dirty lying snake trash. I'm not reading this garbage because you are going to get what is coming to you. Karma is a bitch. You're wasting your time, bitch snake, because I'm not reading none of this shit you are sending. Go die some fucking where, you no good trashy snake. This was on Facebook.
wow, that's the mind of a narcissist to the 10th power.
And this is what I met with when I tried to, and this was around the time that when because she had sent me several things saying, "Oh, I'm coming for you. I'm gonna get you." And that was around the time I didn't realize that was when she was writing that letter to my job when I worked at the state.
Wow.
Oh, and I wanted to tell the audience too. After the state, I had to go upstairs. I was in human resources for about 2 hours with that.
Mm.
And they told me all state employees are protected.
Wow.
So they told me that they were going to list they filed a complaint against my mother using her letter as a reference.
Right.
And it said that, and she said that they would have she was a person of interest.
Mm. Deep. Wow.
But I could not imagine. Now, there's times when I have been so mad at my son because he's done something that I didn't approve of. I could not imagine writing to his job and telling his job that he's a terrorist. You can't make this up.
No, you cannot make this up. Impossible. You cannot
writing to his job and telling his job that he's a terrorist, all because I'm mad at him. And I wasn't going to tell this story, but you know what? I'm going to tell it.
Let's go.
The reason why my mother was mad at me was because she felt that I was disloyal to her. And the reason why she felt I was disloyal is because my aunt was on her deathbed.
Let's keep it right there. Your aunt was on her deathbed.
And my aunt
Hold on. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yes, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yeah.
I hear something.
I don't know. I don't know if you got Bluetooth on or something. I don't know. I never had this experience, I don't know why it's not being. Hold on. Let me try it again on the side. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Nope. Can't hear me now. Well, I'm sorry, my sister.
I can't hear at all.
Yeah, I don't know why. I can't.
And I can hear her.
And I could too. That's crazy. I don't know why. I don't know if it's on her side as far as the phone is concerned, but yeah, this is not. I don't know why that's happening. I'm sorry. So I gotta do the. I don't know. Let me just check over here once again.
Hello?
Hold on. Let me just check over here.
I hear her.
I know. I hear it too. But it's nothing happening. Check. 1, 2. Nothing. I'm so sorry. Tell her to call in with her.
I can't hear anything. I hung up my YouTube.
All right, tell her to call you.
But I don't hear anything.
Tell her to call you. You put
so
on
I'm going
speaker.
to hang up.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
All right, ask her to. Well, she just said she was on YouTube. She hung it up. So let's give her a minute, so she can call in with that. Wow. Yeah. So, sister that just called in, do me the favor. If you can call Miss Ball, and she can put you on speaker. She can put you on speaker because we couldn't hear you at all. Call Miss Ball. Okay. When your aunt was in the hospital.
My aunt was on her deathbed.
Right.
We knew that her diagnosis was terminal. That's my father's sister. So at the time, my parents were living. Were they living in South Carolina? My parents was living in South Carolina. So they came up here under the premise that this would be the last time that my father was going to see his sister. While my mother was up here, unbeknownst to us, My mother changed my aunt's address to her address.
But why?
Hear me out, because this story is unbelievable. However, I got the court documents to prove it.
Wow.
So my mother changed my aunt's address to her address. Resultantly, she was getting all of my aunt's mail. Once she got access to my aunt's mail, she started going into my aunt's business, her bank account, her car accounts, or everything that had to do with my aunt's business. My mother, and at the time, my aunt's grandson was living in her house. So my mother felt that he shouldn't be living there. So she was actively trying to, she called Dyfs on him too. She was actively trying to get him evicted out of my aunt's house. Okay. So my cousin, who's my aunt's daughter, called me and she needed my help. She needed me. She told me that my aunt's car finance company had contacted her about some illegal documents that they received. And she needed my help. So long story short, we ascertained that my mother had been acting as my aunt, sending forged documents. She called public service to try to have the service turned off. She called Dyfs to try to get my aunt's grandson out of the house. She was trying to get the car possessed because she felt that my cousin should not be driving my aunt's car.
Wow.
So my cousin, my aunt's daughter, came to me to help her. Now, years ago when I was young and beautiful, I used to work in the legal field. So I had the intellectual means and the wherewithal to be able to help my cousin to do this, which I was able to untangle a lot of what she did. When my mother found out that it was me who went to court with my cousin, who wrote all of the letters, who made the phone calls, she was enraged.
Wow.
She felt that I was being disloyal. And that's what she meant by, I'm coming for you, I'm going to fix you. This was around the same time when she wrote to my boyfriend's sister and to my job. So she, and then what she tried to do was, my mother actually went on Facebook and said that it was me who did all of that. Now, my family knew better because they knew that I was, helping my cousin to undo. The toll that it took on my cousin was heart-wrenching.
Wow.
My cousin had to deal with the death of her mother. She had to deal with her mother's identity fraud. And I will never forget the heartbreaking. My cousin sat right here where I am in my home office.
Right.
And she cried on my shoulder and she says, "Why is your mother doing this to me? I always loved your mother." I could actually hear my heart breaking because I had no answer for her. But let me tell you how bad this affected my cousin. Because my mother was messing around with her bank documents and everything.
Wow.
The bank is getting stuff from my mother. I'm writing to undo it. The bank doesn't know who's lying. So guess what the bank did? Account seized.
Wow.
My cousin needed to bury her mother. My cousin had to go to the credit union of my church and borrow money.
Wow.
To bury her mother.
That's deep.
Because of what my mother did. Okay? 11 days after my aunt died, my mother wrote a letter to my cousin.
Which is her.
Calling her all kinds of names and telling her, you should go and die like your mother. That was the final straw for my cousin. My cousin had like a little breakdown.
I can imagine.
Okay.
Wow. That's deep. I mean, to actually do that when the mom has deceased. I just had a post up talking about one of the worst things you can do is disrespect someone's mother when they have passed. Now, you have some people that would say things like, well, what's the difference? If a person is alive, if a mother's alive and someone disrespects or crack on or diss their mother while they're alive, basically it's the same thing. No, it's not.
Well, that and also go back to what I said when I first started. Just my mother did all of this while this woman was on her deathbed.
Right.
So it was intentional. Now, what you're talking about, the thing with the whole 50 Cent and T.I., that's, the dozens and the that's kind of different. My mother, this was intentional because, like I said, she changed my aunt's address to her address.
Wow.
Started getting her mail. We had to, the FBI was involved, the attorney, the postmaster general was involved. This was like a really extensive. And
wow.
Oh, here's Arlene now.
Yeah, put it on speaker. I told her to call you.
Hey, Arlene.
Hey, how are you? I had to go in my files. I'm like, what is my number?
Oh yeah.
Much love, Arlene. We thank you for chiming in.
I am doing well. You know what? You're doing so well. I felt you when you started tearing up. I'm like, I'm over here in the car running around doing what I have to do, and I feel you.
Wow.
You're doing such a wonderful job by intricately breaking this down without being emotionally detached to the whole thing. And I commend you. It is one of the hardest experience to have.
Yeah, man.
And we talked about this.
Yeah, yes, we did. Yes, we did.
And years ago.
Years ago.
It became a trending topic. We have
talked about this. Yes.
Wow.
I used to work with Arlene. I used to work, and I remember talking. Arlene, that was like what, maybe 9 or 10 years ago?
Wow.
Oh yes. Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
That's
that
deep.
was my sister. And we buried my sister in 2012.
I remember that. Yeah.
This became a trending topic, and we cling to each other. You have like the brightest personality, so resourceful, and
thank
everything.
You.
I want to ask Arlene.
I wanted to say in regards to that, like when we have a good heart, like they project on us, because it's crazy making. They'll accuse you of doing things. They say you're doing things, and it's like, where are you getting this from?
Well, a narcissist, what they accuse you of, that's their mirror. Whatever a narcissist accuse you of,
they're talking about themselves. They're talking about themselves.
It's their confession.
And you know what? So you know what I learned later on? We project onto them too.
Yeah.
And so when we are good people, and you see how they say people view people how they view themselves.
Right.
When you view yourself as a good person, you can't accept that they're not a good person. So you project who you are onto them. And sometimes that does come out like, well, they can change and they can. No, I've learned to accept that that's who they are, because it is deeper. Like psychology is antisocial personality disorders. And then you have several. You have the NPD, which is narcissistic personality.
That's what you were talking about, David.
Sociopath. You have the histrionics. You have the psychopaths. All of those people cannot be corrected in therapy. Then this is the other thing. There's because when we went to college, we didn't know who we were, right? We just said, "Oh, I want to go to college and study this topic."
Wow.
People that went to college, a lot of people are in psychology that are narcissists, but they didn't know they were.
Hey. You're gonna have to hold on. You're gonna have to say that. You're gonna have to say that one more time, my sister.
Okay. People who let's go back to us. When we graduated high school and we went to college, we didn't know who we were. we just liked the subject and we said we was going to go to school for this topic, right?
Right.
And then when you went to college, you learned about it, right?
Right.
What I'm saying is there is a lot of people in therapy, psychology, psychiatrists who are actually narcissists, psychopaths, sociopaths, histrionic. They didn't know that that's who they were until they studied that DSM. And then when they got that DSM.
So are you saying or implying that there are a lot of people who are actually in the field of being therapists themselves, and they are that's what they're trying to study?
That's possible.
Absolutely.
Word.
Let me tell you why.
I heard that also.
Let me tell you why. That is absolutely correct. Everything that Yolanda has been saying, remember when you said that they are crafty? Part of the science behind being crafty is not revealing their intentions. They know they know evil things. They're not going to say, "Oh, well, I'm doing this because I envy you," because they know that other people in society is going to say that they're wrong, and not only that, they know that they won't have anybody on their side. So one of the things that they, for their arsenal, is to disparage your character and get other people on their side. Well, if they reveal their intentions, how are they going to manipulate people to side with them so they don't reveal their intentions? So it's the same thing with people in the field. When they know who they are, they keep it a secret.
And they hide behind their title.
They hide behind their title, and
that's what my mother does. My mother hides behind the title. She says, "Oh, I'm the mother." And society takes it because we have been trained from kids. Your mother is a queen. I get it, Arlene. I get it.
Facts.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. That's right.
That's deep.
When they find out who they are, they don't reveal that information. When you think about, let's look at all the evil that's going on in the world, right? There's no separation to it. A personality disorder is what it is. When you look at what's going on in the world, you have to tell yourself that this is coming from people who lack empathy and compassion. If you have empathy, you cannot do half the things we see, the evil that we see in this world. Yet in all, this kind of evil been in existence. So why haven't we been learning about it? You know why it's becoming a trending topic? Other people in the field who are not narcissists have gained the courage to start talking about it, because we have to. If you continue to stay silent about this, we're going to be in trouble. But the reason why people have been silenced is because people that with these personality disorders always get other people to gang up on you. So you're being silenced by fear, right? So when they gang up on you, let's look at the things they target, your jobs. So if you're losing a job and you can't get a job, you're losing a license, how are you going to take care of yourself? So they do things to silence you by interfering with your foundation. And when your foundation is interfered with, now you're drowning. Now you don't have time to focus on other things.
And that's what they do to distract you. It's all a part of the scheme. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
So that's why a lot of people have been silent, and this is like we're now starting to hear about narcissism. This is not a new thing, and it's not a trend. It has been happening. The other thing is this: we don't see a lot of righteous people anymore. Why?
A lot of what?
They know a righteous person. The things you talk about, the things you focus on, they hear you. They already know you're not like them, so they're planning against you from the beginning. So a lot of righteous people are tired because they're in one problem to the next, and they don't realize that they're being targeted.
That's deep, man.
There's not enough righteous people to stand up and stop this kind of evil. And so now it's like they have full reign to do whatever they want to do.
Right. Wow. That's a great analogy. You hit that right on point. If you can hear me.
Hear you.
No doubt. I said, you hit that right on point. If you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Yeah, you hit that right on.
And thank y'all for the conversation. I don't want to stay too long because this type of topic, we can go on for long, especially those who have
experienced it.
For me,
yeah,
my family, it's ongoing. My grandmother is like that. I cut her off. It's no contact.
You have
to try to get through to me with other family members. I had a cousin, family members that's not American. So my mom's side of the family is not American. I'm the first American in my family, but you came to this country. I was born here. You're treating me like I'm a third-class citizen in the country. And then when family come here, you're showing them the ropes. So family will come from overseas and you disrespecting me, but you're on vacation in my country.
Wow.
So when family members, because the thing is that many people love feeling superior by putting their foot on somebody else's neck. So that's what also makes them join in this kind of nonsense. And so I've learned to cut. Once I see, as I got an adult and I see that, I cut. You know how many people I cut off? Family or not, I really don't care.
Cut them off.
Right? Because
no contact.
Right, because no contact. I just turned 49. I am a grown woman. We're not going to continue this kind of cycle. The other thing is because they cross your boundaries, you don't know where your boundaries end and where their BS begin. So there's a lot of things, a lot of disrespect that we end up taking and accepting throughout the years and not realizing that it's actual disrespect. Because you have to been taught from a child what is your boundaries, what is respect, how you should allow people to treat you. But if the person that's raising you has been disrespecting you all your life and crossing your boundaries, you haven't developed that skill set to know what your boundaries are and where it should end and where it should begin. So you have to go through a whole process of reprogramming, learning yourself, understanding where to place your boundaries and all that takes a lot of time.
Yes, and, it does.
We start doing that when we become adults. What about the people that never educated themselves on narcissism?
Real talk.
People that have passed away being disrespected and misused by life because they can't handle on themselves.
That's true. That's true.
That's a fact.
And something else I wanted that I had said to David, because and Arlene, you can attest to this. Narcissistic people are habitual pathological, psychotic liars.
Now
because my mother, when I learned all the things about my mother, I had to rethink my entire childhood. Because I didn't know where the line blurred between what she told me as being real and what were the lies that she had made up over the years. And to this day, I'm still not sure about some of the things that my mother told me supposedly happened because I know the way that my mother lies.
Right.
That's
deep. And what Arlene said, as far as there are people who never actually got the help, never got the education, and they may be 70, 60 something, 90 years old. And that's unfortunate, you know what I mean? And they may have been doing it all their life to people. And those are people that never spoke up about it, have probably been suffering and is suffering this very day when they think about certain things.
It's taboo.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. You like what my mother says, even though her reasoning is misdirected. Oh, you're talking. I was just reading something. She said, "Oh, who talks about their mother? Who goes on Facebook?" I don't go on Facebook and talk about you, Ma. I go on Facebook and I defend myself for the things that you said about me.
Come on.
And like I said, the difference is me telling you guys I'm telling you about my experience. I'm not sitting up here telling you about, I have not once said anything about my mother's personal business.
Come on.
Difference. I'm telling you about her actions toward me as a narcissistic mother.
Right.
But because she's narcissistic, she can't differentiate the two. In her mind, and how the narcissistic people think, they view any correction that you make toward them, any way that you try to defend yourself, as an attack on
them. Woo! Teach. Y'all teaching tonight.
And they see it that way because that's a part of their manipulation. They know it's not an attack.
Right.
It's emotional abuse, psychological abuse. It's everything that can be used to shut you down so that you don't hold them accountable. Like they want free reign to do whatever it is.
Anything they want to do and say anything they want to say.
Nobody ends up holding them accountable because when they do that, now you're shocked and flabbergasted and you start evaluating yourself because your empathy will have you say, okay, well, am I the problem?
You know what?
So while you're sitting here questioning yourself, wondering, what did I say? Did I say something wrong? You're thinking that you're wrong the whole time. It is an exaggerated response made to shut you down, to have you question yourself. So you get hijacked from so many angles, it doesn't even make sense. And what's so disheartening about that is that you don't have the right self-agency, even when it comes to dealing with other people in your life because of this. Now, the average person that has exaggerated reactions is going to make you be quiet, listening to them and wondering, did you say or do something to have them cause that? Opposed to people that come from healthy environments, you already know that there's nothing wrong with your delivery. You are a loving person when you speak to somebody, so you should never receive that kind of response.
Yes.
So people who have healthy households can check that behavior right then and there. Whereas those of us who don't, we don't check that behavior right then and there because we think we're wrong because we're always made to think that everything we do is wrong. But here's another thing with narcissistic people that is important. This is why I say that they're evil and it's spiritual. They envy your personality. They envy your wherewithal, your resolve, all of those things.
Your popularity, how other people love you.
They watch you.
They seek to tear that down. Yes. And Arlene, I just want to commend you on that because until I was halfway through therapy, that's what I had that. I questioned myself. I was like, well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they make you question your own reality. They actually make you feel guilty for the abuse and mistreatment that they, and like I said, because a narcissistic mother has this air of superiority, it's like, well, I'm your mother. And you're supposed to, and I was just reading something. A narcissistic mother views her child as an extension of herself, a tool to prop her fragile ego and absorb her unresolved shame. Her relentless disrespect, criticism, manipulation is intentional, designed to reinforce her delusional superiority and keep you perpetually off balance. And that's what you're saying, Arlene. So when you dare to assert your humanity and say, Mom, this hurts me. Mom, you deserve to treat me kindness. She interprets this as a threat to her authority. Your boundaries disrupt her narrative of her dominance, and your self-respect becomes an act of rebellion in her eyes.
Yes, ma'am. Now, here's how I like to approach it, because some of those therapists will speak in a way where you can find yourself having empathy for them. How I interpret it is the person who rules with the iron fist it's like a slave master. They don't care about your pain. So when you're tired picking cotton and you start slowing down, you're going to get lashes because they have absolutely no empathy for your pain. That's how I see it. It's not a space to saying that it's their shame and they see you as challenging them. For you to have empathy for them, it's that they see themselves as the ultimate dictator, and nobody challenges or questions a dictator. Challenge or question, you deserve to be punished. That's how I see it. There's another therapist that I follow. He is on Instagram, and I want you to follow him because he will tell you, he does new studies, and he'll tell you that abuse and evil and violent behavior is no prerequisite. It's either because, and he will tell you that how it's genetic, because you'll have kids that's born in the same household, and some will get the personality trait and some won't. And being exposed to abuse is no prerequisite for being an abusive person. You either have the ability and the bandwidth to be that kind of person, or you don't. No experience is going to make you become someone that has narcissistic personality disorder. It's important to say disorder because, yes, many people have narcissistic traits, right? And a lot of that is developed and learned behavior. But through therapy, that can be reversed.
Right.
The person that has NPD, when it is a disorder, that cannot be reversed. And many therapists will tell you that it cannot be reversed. You have them, they come to therapy trying to
they try to dissuade the therapist. Yeah. And I would say, like in the case of my mother, somebody who's like 87 years old, as the old saying goes, she's too set in her ways now. I don't even think that at this point in time my mother could be helped.
Wow.
Because she's been like this all of her life.
Yeah, that's why I definitely think it's got to be some type of genetic situation in there. You know what I mean? So definitely thank you for confirming that, Arlene. That's heavy. Hey, Arlene, I want to ask you, are you a therapist? Did you go to school for therapy?
So yes, yes, and I'm certified in behavioral health as well. I used to run my program at Delaney Hall Halfway Home.
Nice.
And I always educate myself. I stay abreast.
No doubt. That's what's up.
Yeah.
I definitely appreciate you bringing that to the podcast, because especially the part when you said you've been around or you know people that was going to school and not, realizing after they learn what they learned, they going to school for, but they are the narcissists. That's heavy, and people never talk about that. You know what I mean?
Right.
And a lot of times they have these clients and things like that, and actually, spinning their venom on their clients.
Exactly.
Wow.
A lot of clients couldn't understand why they feel like they are not being helped with the therapist. And so they scratch their head because now clients are not educated. But the reason why is because their therapist has the disorder. And so they're going to side with the person that's abusing them.
Come on.
And it's always made to, and I see it as a spiritual thing. They also have to be feeding off of your energy. And, that's a deeper aspect. But can I drop the name of the therapist that I follow on Instagram?
Yes, you could.
Great insight. So his name on Instagram, he is Dr. Peter Solano. I'm going to spell it DrPeter, S as in Sam, A-L as in Larry, E-R-N-O. He is a therapist that continues to follow updated studies. He does not recall old studies. So what was in the DSM and what therapists talked about 30, 40, 50 years ago, he measures it in comparison to updated findings. And so that's why I like to follow him, because old findings like to give people with personality disorders an excuse for their behavior. He's firm when he tells you that being in an abusive household is no prerequisite for you becoming an abusive person. You either have the propensity already to be an abusive person or you don't.
Yep.
Word. That was a bomb you just dropped. Yeah, that's a bomb. I appreciate you bringing that particular narrative to the show, man. Real talk. You got that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And then I'm going to hang up because I don't want to, because, I'll talk for
It's good to hear your voice. Thank you.
Got a little time. I'm going to chop this video up. We got a little time.
Yes. And that's it. No, because I don't want to let Yolanda finish with her aspect of the show.
Thank you for calling in. It was good to hear your voice.
Likewise. Okay.
Take care. Bye. Peace.
Much love. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
she dropped the bomb.
I used to work with her,
It's a
and I
blessing to be
remember
around people like that. You know what I mean?
I connected, and I remember it to go. And she said that was like 10 years ago. Show you how long I have been grappling with. Well, actually, it's been all my life.
That's
but
deep.
she was somebody who I connected with.
Yeah, you couldn't, you told your story and all that.
Like she said, her grandmother. So we had that in common. So we she's a very intelligent lady.
It's a beautiful thing for you to go through what you were going through and having somebody like that around you. That's that's God, ain't number God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. That's a blessing. Well, man, hey man, I think we might have to do a part 2. This is heavy. This is part 2. I mean 3, my bad. A part 3 of you, you know what I mean? Because I think this is definitely a situation where there are a lot of people you're going to be able to help, man. And I definitely see that, because
I would, I would really like to, I know they wouldn't. I would like to invite, well, my mother would definitely.
Right. So if there's any family members here,
I would like for my brother and sister to come on and to talk about it.
Right.
Because, see, that's and I forgot to bring this up when Arlene was on. One of the things that narcissistic people do, I like to say that they're like roaches. They like to hide, like when you have roaches, and then the roaches, you turn the light on and they scatter.
Or they get mad that you turn the light on.
So they're comfortable hiding behind their false narratives. And like I have always said to everybody in my family, my immediate family, let's talk about it open. I challenge you. Meet me on the Dr. Bill show. Yeah. Let's take a lie detector test.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, man. And whenever y'all get it together, I can have about 10 people on here at one time and chop it up.
But they're not. You know that the sad reality is that
I'm not going to open up.
I think about coming up, how life was, my grandmother's house. My grandmother's house was the nexus. After church, we would go there, and she would always cook. All my uncles and aunts would be there. We would go outside and play, and my grandmother always had these homemade cakes and desserts and everything. And I have such fond memories of that.
Right.
And now, fast forward to my family now, and it's disjointed. We don't celebrate holidays together. We don't speak. We don't have any relationship. Because just think, we grew up in the same household together, and now we don't even talk.
Wow.
We don't even talk, because now, I know my pastor would not, agree with this, but I have a hard time forgiving my sister. And for what it's worth, yeah, I quote unquote forgave her, but I will never talk to my sister ever again for 2 reasons. Number 1, I don't trust her. And number 2, I don't respect her. And because to have Dyfs come to say, anybody that knows me knows that I don't like children. I love children. I adore children. Okay, I do what I do a lot of times for free.
Come on.
Okay, and there's no way in the world I could imagine hurting a child sexually. When that Dyfs worker said, "Oh, I'm here to investigate you for sexual abuse,"
you was blown away.
Like this is how my heart.
Yeah.
I was like, sexual abuse?
Wow.
She told me that she said that because, she had to read, what it is. And she told me the consequences. If we find any of this to be true, you will be required to register as a sex offender. Wow. Now, that's my job. What I do is I work with kids. Okay.
She wanted to hurt you bad. Yeah, she want to stop your income and everything. That's sad.
So,
Wow.
and like I said, this all stems from my mother.
Wow.
Learned behavior. Well,
yeah.
My mother called Dyfs on, so I'm going to call Dyfs on her too.
Mm-hmm.
You
well,
know?
it's just not learned. I think we learned today.
Oh, no. I agree with you, but I'm just saying in that aspect.
I got you. I get it.
Right. What she saw my mother do over the years.
On top of a little bit of sprinkle of the genetic.
Yeah.
That's deep, man.
We talked about this on the phone.
Yes, we did.
Like I said, I had to rethink my whole childhood because I don't really know the difference between what my mother told me being fact or fiction. I would really like to know what happened with my mother.
Yeah, that's a question. That's a question I asked. I don't know. For those who are listening, it's a question I asked her, and we were discussing that. She said she never really thought about that because I brought it up. Because I'm saying, hold up, if she's calling Dyfs on all of the family members, something happened to her dealing with Dyfs, something around that as a child or whatever the case may be, something happened to her for her to do that, for her to be fixated on that part to destroy or, manipulate or get revenge in that way. Vindictive in that way. Yeah.
But like I said, don't forget in going back on my story, it goes beyond Dyfs. My mother wrote to my boyfriend's sister.
Right.
She wrote to my job. And she even did this with my father. She got my father fired. She called
Get out of here.
Yeah, he's a cocaine addict. Check him out.
Wow.
Yeah, my mother is diabolical. It doesn't just stop at Dyfs. She now just like this, if she gets wind of this, my mother will start working double time to to try to undo it. The one thing that I learned over the years, and it just took me a long time, I stopped telling her things about my personal life.
There you go.
Way she couldn't use them against me.
Right.
That's what. But I mean, think about how sad that is. My mother, the one person who I should be able to tell all my secrets to, and be able to tell, I have to hide because she will take that information and use it against me.
Wow. That's
how dysfunctional our relationship is.
And just to get clarity, you wasn't a bad kid. You wasn't a bad teenager or 20s and 30s. You didn't do anything to her.
I was a skinny nerd who wore thick glasses. My first job was in the library. I was a read. No, I was, and like I said, I had scoliosis. So for the good, I think it was diagnosed when I was like 13. So throughout my formative teenage years, I wore a body cast and I wore a brace. So I was, ostracized, a lot because I was teased.
Right.
So that's how I became a brainiac. That's how I became, a nerd and everything, because books were my friends.
Come on.
And I would, like learning about life, my period, breasts, and that. I didn't learn any of that from my mother.
Wow.
I learned all of that I didn't have that type of mother that I can talk to. Let me tell you, I was in college when I lost my virginity.
Wow.
My mother had it out that, oh yeah, she's sleeping around with all different guys. Didn't know what sex was.
Wow.
Okay. But that's how I eloped. Let me tell you the impact of the things that my mother did. When I told my mother that I wanted to get married, she immediately started planning my wedding. Now, I wanted to get married in a gold lame dress, and I wanted a rip-off bottom, and, my husband to spin me around on the dance.
Right.
You're not having none of that. My mother immediately started planning the wedding and everything. I ran away and got married. I eloped and got married in a mint green mini dress with ruffles.
Wow.
Came back home, didn't tell my mother I was married. So I was like about 2 weeks, and she was in the kitchen talking about me, like a dog, as if I wasn't. I'm sitting there.
And she sees you?
Me, huh?
She sees you?
I was sitting in the kitchen with her. And she's like, oh yeah, and I guess I had probably been going out, sneaking out, being with my husband, and then coming back home because I was afraid to tell her. So she started calling me, names. Oh yeah, this whore, she's been out in the street, effing men and this, that, and the other. So I got mad and I said, well, if I was effing somebody, it was my husband because I'm married. She was like, what? So she took the phone and she starts beating me with the phone. Well, get the F out there, go be with
wow.
So I called my husband and came and he came and got me. And that's how,
Yeah.
But it was, I was afraid to tell her that I was married. And, she wanted to take over and plan my wedding. But then, like I said, I still, went back. We were living in one of her properties at the time. And, my mother came in and she, I allowed her to more or less run my household.
Yeah.
And, that's why my husband left me, because he was like, I married you. I didn't marry your mother.
Yeah. So I appreciate you once again having the heart to come on and expose this. I mean, I think you have a lot more to speak on. And I definitely want to do a part 3. Because I see you got your paperwork. I see you got your receipts. I see you got all of this stuff. That,
like I said, but you know what? Another thing, it causes you, because I have lived my life on the defense for so long. And like I said, because this is such like a taboo subject, a lot of people don't believe it. So this is why I had to document everything.
Deep.
Because I have to have it in writing. Word. And like I said, my mother, long before Facebook was invented, my mother's been doing this for years. She used to write letters. And that's another thing. She's a coward. She won't say stuff to my face. Back when
most narcissists are cowards.
Back when answering machines were out, my mother would wait until like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning
to do it.
Call you and leave this long message on your answering machine. Mm-hmm. And then she would, write you all these letters. So once Facebook came out, then that's when she started with the making the Facebook post. But like I said, it's one thing to put this in my DMs. My mother made this public,
right?
And people, and this is what me and my brother would try to tell my mother, Ma, when you talk about your kids like this to people, they look at you strange. And my mother's twisted mentality, she thinks that it makes her look good. And you got to realize, most of these people, I would say 99.9, these people, they're like, They hang up and they be like, damn, I can't believe she talked about her children. And then by the same token, they treat you a different way. Because I know that I don't have any friends that is narcissistic or anything, but if any of my friends talked about their daughters or their children like that, I'm going to look at you side-eye. Because like I said, now there's some things that my son has done that I did not approve of. And when I rag him out, guess who I rag him out to? The equal to him.
Wow.
His father. Some things that I will never say in public about my son, I'll say them to his father because that's the equal. But you would never catch me in no public forum and in not talking to any family member about my son. And especially talking about him in a bad manner and disparaging his character and trying to get people to look down on my son. That's abnormal. A mother does not do that. And my mother just does not understand it. But in her mind, this is what she's supposed to do. And my mother even had the audacity one time to tell me, because I was going to contact her pastor after the whole thing with my aunt. And she said, oh, well, go ahead and call him. I'll give you his number. And I'm like, wow, she's delusional. Because if she thinks that if her pastor protects her in any shape, form, or fashion, then he needs to go and hang up his cross. Because there is no way any man of the cloth that can condone, simply by the fact of me telling you, forget all the in between. The fact that I told you that my mother said that she hoped that I should die, and I can show it to you in her own handwriting.
I believe you.
That right there, that says it all.
Yeah.
I don't even have to tell you the rest of the stuff. The fact that my mother wrote me a letter and said that she hopes that I die, in the story.
That's crazy.
That tells you everything you need to know about her as a person and as a mother.
That's deep right there. Hey, man, I think I'm going to have to do a part 3.
Okay.
So I appreciate you for chiming in. I appreciate all of you guys for chiming in. I appreciate if you can share this, because I know for a fact that Miss Ball will help somebody through this video alone. And we will be back on 3. Thank you so much, Miss Ball.
Thank you for allowing me to express myself. Thank you, everybody.
No doubt. No doubt.
And it is what it is.
No doubt. And we will definitely see you another time. We'll set it up. All right? Absolutely. Much love to you. And I'm proud of you. Once again, I'm proud of you for the fact that you actually raised your son despite of. That's a powerful thing, and you definitely need to be proud of yourself for that. And I see that you're proud of yourself.
My son did not tell this story.
Yeah, and you're a great example for a lot of people, man. So keep doing your thing, keep pushing, keep being an inspiration to many that you don't even realize that's watching you. That's a fact. Keep being inspired and pay it forward. Much love and respect. Peace. Love you.
Love you too.
Much love.
Bye-bye.
Peace. Yeah, man, that was a very, very deep situation. Very inspiring. Very enlightening. Many people don't know what others go through when it comes to someone who is a narcissistic mother. And you heard it yourself from the horse's mouth, from somebody who actually experienced it, not just talking about it, not talking about it from a textbook, not talking about it from someone who never experienced it. Someone in an office, a therapist's office, that never experienced it. You know what I mean? So we have to give her props, and hopefully we will do a part 3, because as I talked to her today and talked to her before this actual podcast, I can tell and I can feel that she has a lot more to give, a lot more to tell, a lot more to get out. You know what I mean? And it's a blessing that she's able to do it now, even at her age, in her 60s, where the average person is still holding back, scared, traumatized, hiding the fact of what they went through. Much love and respect. You have been dapped. D.A.P. I appreciate you. One love.